We'll see. We're going to go live. Rainbow hugs and tickles. Big energy. Big energy, everybody. We're going to talk about just to kind of release the stress and, you know, the friction or the anxiety. All these top 5D energies that are flowing in and allowing us to feel shaken up a bit. It's got to, right? You got to shake it up to move and to groove in new ways, right? You can't learn a new dance step unless you get on the floor, right? That's what we're doing. Telling you to get on the fucking dance floor, man. I had this little brainwashing, a brain, what's it called? A download this morning. Between brainwashing and downloads, two opposite total things. And what I wanted to do was just to kind of just do an open channel, open kind of download, you know, just whatever spirit comes through, just to allow us to get more comfortable with celestials, alien energies, understanding more about, which I'm going to do a separate channel with the Star Council because it was one of my roles. I do have another aspect of myself in the Star Council, and they deal with their representations for different planets that are moving through growth, evolution, and their role is to assist planets that are going through great change, helping them integrate through change, resource changing, planets that have gone through war and helping them reestablish new ways. So the Star Council really does a lot of bringing energies and species together. So they do have a lot of understanding of our galactic history, obviously, because they're higher vibrational beings. They're kind of like, you know, they do have energies all the way up into the 12th dimension. And I do have an aspect that is in the Star Council, and they also assist, they've helped me in the past move through various timeline potentials, and there's various recalibration chambers that we go in, some of us, not all of us. I know because I'm familiar with the process. Not everybody has access to it, not everybody can, simply because there has been damages done in past, I guess, if you will, and people fooling with the recalibration chambers. They're meant for those that are specifically creators and builders of templates and universes and timelines, planets, galaxies with the creators, 12 dimensional creators. I'm one of those. I'm a creator. I'm a conduit. I'm a crystal, which means we go in and break up old systems and we create new systems. And so part of my role, and along with the Arcturians, doing grid work in various aspects of space, working with the Galactic Federations, and the Star Council is a specific council that I work with for working with how to refine what I need multidimensionally within my body. What do I need within my, what is it that I need as a multidimensional crystal being, as a hybrid, as a conduit? What is it that I need to my interfacing so that I can manifest my highest timeline based on the Divine Mother Father's plan for humanity, plan for Gaia? And so it's really important that, obviously, when we go, all the things that I offer is about my training, my own personal experience in many, many eons of ascension, different planets, different bodies, different forms, many different galactic councils, federations that I deal with and I work with on other realms and other planets, and on the light ships and on the starships and in the Federation ships, as well as my own personal human experience moving through ascension from a human perspective. And so I have a lot to offer as far as the multidimensionality that I bring, and why my healing sessions are the way they are. I have a specific healing system of the ascension process and how to integrate soul fragments, Akashic and lineage wounding, as well as that encompasses the space and galactic wars and transitions. And so part of my healing and my teaching that I offer people is to understand that everybody has a divine soul blueprint. And that divine soul blueprint, hello, beautiful Angela, that divine soul blueprint is very, oh, it's so complex. We do a lot of our, if you go back on my videos, we have a lot that's there about soul blueprints, and I usually try and title them, although way back, I've been doing these videos for about 6 or 7 years, way back when I didn't really title them soul blueprints. So I've done a lot of videos on soul blueprints, but they're really, really complex. the more that you work with your teams, and I teach you when you come to my sessions and you come to my classes, I teach you how to work with your teams very specifically, so you can come forward and share your life, soul, hybrid, celestial, crystalline, indigo, however your genre of DNA that you've chosen to take on, that you've chosen to anchor and become. And so what we're going to notice in the next 6 months, I know this video is specifically for those that have been working on the ascension path, that know that you've been an awakened being for a while. This is the first stage of integration for 5D. So that means those of you that have been with me for a while, you've been with my radio shows, you've been with all that we've been working with, and especially you, Angela, really understand that you're going to be feeling a lot more and more what the teams have told me, because I wanted, my specific intention today was to bring more of a calm, loving, excited, because this is me, I get excited, about celestial alien integration, first contact of 5D. And so what does that mean? Because we've been going through so much minutia, so much change, so much advancements within our multidimensional systems, to be in preparation of celestial alien 5D Earth. Many of us are on different timelines, different fast tracks, if you will. And so your taste, your soup, is going to be specifically based on what you're being prepared for, and your teams are helping you be that perfect taste, that perfect, there's one of my favorite places to eat, it's called the Noodle Box. And the Noodle Box, you can order all of these different spice levels. There's a mild, and then there's a medium mild. My perfect taste is medium mild. I can't even go beyond medium mild because it's so hot. But they're showing me that your specific teams, especially right now, most people that are on 5D integration, you've had a shift of guides. Those guides are specifically now working with you and your soul's blueprint, because we are going to be, as I said in my last video, like those little curling, the curling rocks, you're going to be slid into place. There's going to be, and there has been, but it's going to be a bit more, we're going to have more awareness of it. There's going to be more of an awareness of these shifts to those timelines. And they're going to feel very, they told me we're going to have time anomalies. You're going to have those symptomologies and those experiences in your time-space understanding that may or may not make sense. For instance, if you go and look something up on the internet that you've been, trying to research, but it's part of your soul blueprint not to know about it yet, and then when it's ready to know about it, you're going to have time shift anomalies, and then you go to look something that's not really related, but it will show you what you needed to see, because that time shift and that veil has been taken, those flimsies, that sliding into place. We are in a multidimensional mechanism right now. There's so much that is involved, and especially for different positions and roles like myself, we are going to be leaders of 5D, because we've been training for a very long time. And those that I teach and those that I offer these to are teachers, healers, and leaders, because new earth systems are going to have to be led by those with higher alignments with the higher self. As anybody is watching my social posts, we have to be very awake and very aware of what's working, what's not working, who's aligned, who's not aligned, because we have to be ready to step into role. And so we're going to be getting very comfortable with what does that taste, what do we feel like, what is the scent of each of us multidimensionally, your essence, your omnipresence. And so what they were showing me is that I want to get used to using these higher vibrational sensing words, the Christ codes. When we're sensing into new versions of who we are, it's about that taste, it's about that vibration, it's about that feeling, it's about the essence. And that is everything that you need to begin practicing and softening into, and really getting excited and really finding this very loving and harmonizing minutia about omnipresence. And we're going to say it that way because there's a lot of people in the collective that you're going to be helping acclimatize and help integrate the strangeness or unbelievability of alien celestial energies. And they're really everywhere. Cetaceans and whales are, alien beings. the intelligence of cetaceans, the intelligence of amphibious beings. I have a huge connection with the Assyrian amphibious beings. When I have visions and downloads, I see a lot of amphibious beings because people in my family and a lot of the children hybrid, they have a lot of amphibious DNA. And so I'm learning how to communicate in a vibratory experience. And a lot of the light language I do, a lot of the work with the waters that I do is to do with the amphibious transitioning of higher vibrational codes, higher vibrational things that I do as a Reiki Christed being. I work with my hands a lot. That's how I heal. I heal a lot through my hands. I heal a lot through my sounds and my light languages. So it's what we wanted to say and what we wanted to offer was getting comfortable with your celestial alien first contact, softening into all of these beautiful new words that we're stepping into, and just call it under the blanket of omnipresence. Because essentially and I've never looked at it this way, but thank you, God, for, the Mother, Father, God was showing me, is that there's going to be a lot shifting all at the same time, as we talked about the other day, about this big burp and this big awakening of what does religion mean to us and what does the spirituality mean to us? Who are we really and what do we really exist within? What's going on within us that is just like night and day? Because what's going to be happening is going to be these big veils that will be lifted from the illusions of humanity. And we're going to be seeing quite blatantly, and it may bring, a portion of the collective into, sedentary shock, if you will, because what has really been going on behind the scenes and what has really been going on in private agendas, what has really been going on in how much we've been veiled and how much we've been controlled, how much we've been having things hidden from our everyday life that's allowed us to stay very limited in our exploration of who we are, in the knowing of who we are. There's many sacred texts that we've talked about this in many of our classes. There's many sacred texts and scriptures that will be released from the Vatican, that will be released from the Alexandria Library. And a lot of these are going to be confirming all of this stuff that lightworkers like myself have been teaching, is the higher vibrational wisdoms, the higher vibrational contexts, T-E-X-T, of who we are and how to manifest minutiae of higher vibrational being. Because all of us in essence are omnipresence. That is the essence and the presence of God, of source, of spirit. We're going to be minutia and navigating our ways into releasing religion into more and more of a spiritual experience. Because we're all spirit, everything is the essence of spirit. What we feel and what we think and what we know and what we've been told or taught, really, and I'm sensing it more and more, it's going to be it's going to be for those of us that have been on the path for a while, those of us that are excited about celestials, those that are excited about ETs, those of us that are excited about, I see light ships all the time, so it's not an unusual thing to me. I dream about it. I think about it. They're always with me. My celestials are always with me. I have various different types of beings that are with me and consciousness that are with me. Because my energy is so excited to deal with a lot of different energies, I'm very open to the fine-tunement of different vibrational consciousnesses that some people, you have to tell them about certain omnipresence, because they might only see or know their consciousness, their brain functioning, again, they haven't integrated that much. Their consciousness is not as expanded, it's not as open. Their sauce, their taste might only be on a mild level. And then there's people that are super, super hot. They can handle whatever you want to talk about. They're open for it. So you have to be okay with understanding your taste and your ability to handle the heat, if you will, and why those of us like myself have been in practice for a while to have a thicker skin, because we're going to be helping humanity get used to the expansiveness of omnipresence. And really that's what it is. We don't want to, again, just like we are as in human form, we don't want to keep dissecting and defining who we are as humans as Catholics or Jews or Catholic or Christians or all these things that we define. Anything that is beyond what we think is human is omnipresence. It might be a bird person. It might be an insectoid. And insectoids, there's so many different species of insectoids. And obviously we know that because how many different insects we have on the planet. They're a very fine, yeah, they're standing with me right here. They're always so playful and lovely. I love them so very much. They're so very, so very, so very gentle and loving. It's like the energy of the insectoids for me is just like these beautiful, huge, soft beings, and they just want to like touch you with the lightest little breath of air, and they want you to just soften into their gentle. It's a very feminine, friendly, loving, and soft energy, and their energies are just so unconditional. And I cry a lot of the times when I'm with my insectoids because they're so generous and so unconditional and so gentle and so soft. And that's why I love seeing insects on earth, because I like watching them walk. They're so gentle upon the earth. They're so interesting, and they're so careful. You know, they're very, and that's why I love being a conduit, because I really get into that remoteness and that fine-tunement of, that's what I really love about myself. I love being a conduit because I do like to see the smallest parts of life. I do love to see how children walk and play about the planet. I do love to see into the energies of what's going on in the DNA and what parts of that DNA are they bringing forward to play with. And that's what conduits do. We read through the energy fields. We read through what we see. We really like to take a look at the smallest aspects of life and then bring it to life and anchor on the planet, because we're not meant to just walk over life. We're not meant to, as I said in my video the other day, we don't want to normalize ourselves to just walking over life and just thinking that we're normalizing ourselves to being separate because we think it looks strange or different or feels strange or feels different. We are meant to keep that ongoing soup and keep tasting that soup and keep alchemizing that soup and keep nourishing the soup and keep adding to that soup. And that is the omnipresence. That's what God does with us all the time. The Creator, just to give you an example. And this is why I just, I have to step back because I get frustrated sometimes when all of the black magic and the spiritual warfare and all of that stuff goes on. But I understand now, they're showing me the higher perspective of why having to make peace with it and be okay with it, because it also adds to the soup, because it allows me to stretch and it allows me to be at peace and in patience with whatever's going on. So I become more of a master. So I'm seeing all sides of the infinity, but then I feel bad because I'm a light worker, right? I feel bad that, you know, spirit has to play babysitter on people that are just choosing to be ignorant because they don't understand the harms of black magic. They don't understand the harms of having to rebalance that equation every time someone sends something out when they're not paying attention to universal laws. So I get the whole part of it, but there is also that play that I have to also relax and know that there is God, is what I'm going to tell you. The omnipresence, God's divine plan. And if you can imagine trillions of galaxies in our universes, trillions, beyond trillions, whatever is bigger than the biggest number. There's infinite aspects of life. Those infinite aspects of life are geared towards their soul's code, their soul's blueprint, the passion of who they are and why they are who they are. And it's just only a tiny caption of a soul's blueprint, but it is one of the most important because it is directly related to your alignment and your creativity of your higher self. And why it's really, really important that leaders of the 5D absolutely understand the Trinity that we talk about in our classes. Who you are with the heavens and your divine plan with God, which is your core vibration of creativity, your collective and Gaia, because that's the sacred trinity that you are here to serve and you're here to be a voluptuous being with. You're meant to be constantly adding to that soup through your unique soul's code, through your unique soul's blueprint. And God is constantly, if we say the micro macro, to who you are as a cell, as a molecule, as a cell of God, God becoming psychically aware of God, God becoming masterful and integrative with God, your soup within you and God are constantly working with, as Mia and my Star Council, me and my teams, me and my healing teams, we're constantly working in the minutia and the soup of what I need so that I'm maintaining who I am, because I get bored, if you will. As a conduit, I'm constantly seeking vibrational integration, because that's just who I am coded. That's how I'm interfacing. I'm constantly seeking those natural, omnipresent essences to integrate. That's what I do. I weave God's energy. I weave the multiverse. That's fun for me. I love that. It's like coloring. It's like a coloring book. But I do it with vibrational threads. I do it with the vibrational omnipresent field, the field. The divine intelligence, the things and the energy and the song and the harmonics that makes up matter worlds. That's part of my role with God, and why God has placed me here as part of the creator divine groups and collectives. And I have that thread of consciousness channeling to the 12th dimensional creators. They're helping me and assisting me with God's divine plan that is a part of humanity's ascension, the omnipresent soup that is constantly moving. At any moment of any transition that Earth, humanity, any group of collective move through, God knows exactly, because God is all, the omnipresence is all. There's a constant energy temperature check, if you will, through God, through people like me, through the various billions of people on the planet, those that are also creators, those that are higher selves guides and our guides upon guides, our oversoul of oversoul, all the people that we're connected with. We're not just by ourselves sitting here. You're linked with thousands of beings and consciousnesses at any one moment. When you go through like that time when I passed out in the pharmacy that day, you know, this is before I was even awake. I passed out in the pharmacy because I had pneumonia. I had worked so hard. I was working out twice a day, and I was just running my body just down. I was living in the city, and I just passed out in the pharmacy. The second that I passed out, a being was here to realign me and reset me, and I was standing on my feet within minutes. There wasn't even time to call the ambulance. I mean, the being was there resetting me, and I was up on my feet. And so my body sends off a trigger, and my teams know immediately what's going on. They know, they have like a little crystalline board. They watch me and whoever else they're in care for, because they're our guides. They care for us. You know, just like if you were children, and if anything's set off with your children, you know, you have that trigger, you know something's going on, so you move in for help. So because I have those implants, they know exactly what's going on with me emotionally. They know if it's a fear trigger or if it's a happiness trigger. They know what I need if I need to be soothed. They know what I need if I need to be given information. Because they're me, right? They're on me on higher aspects. And my teams are always being shifted and changed, because now we all are stepping into this new first phase of integration, which means that we're going to be in as we talked about in our last class, and we're going to be talking about in the February 9th class, for those of you that want to join me in that class. Those will be more and more specifically connected with your sensory systems, which we talk about in our class on also the multidimensional biochemical, biophysical systems, how those are changing and shifting. Again, you and your teams, you and your healing teams are working with that. And also the omnipresence that God is always aware of, that whatever it is that's needed in a particular area, like say Middle East omnipresent field is much different than my field over here, where there's never been war. You know, so every place on the planet has the nodes and the nulls of where energy moves in and out of, just like a vein in an artery. Things are moving in and things are moving out. We are, in and of ourselves, molecules, micro, macro, psyche experiences of sending and receiving information. So in our class, we're going to go more and more in depth of the basic mechanics of how information and energy, the omnipresence, is always that sending and receiving vein and artery. And we'll see it in everywhere of our God systems within God systems, our biophysical bodies. And that's going to play a big part in our healing. We're going to be healing down the road with light tools that we won't even have to open any of our cavities up. We can do the healing from our bodies from light tools, and with our with the beings that are very, very powerful using light. And so that's what they're showing me slowly. They're showing me really slowly as I'm practicing splitting my consciousness. And so those are just some of the things that we want to really change our perspective and our ideas and attitudes, as God was showing me. We want to think about meeting and connecting with the omnipresence that we're already doing, because I already feel a shift. I really have felt a shift the last couple of weeks because of my multidimensional sensory systems have been upgraded. And because I've had so many downloads, I'm feeling and I'm feeling my beings that are around me all the time at a much more visceral level. As I've told you many times before, the omnipresence to me, and that's what God has shown me, when we talk about celestial and alien contact, and it will depend on, again, your DNA allocation, how much you've been practicing and integrating your light. As Angela, you know that I've been showing you those tips and techniques because you are a very high sensory being. So you have to really work with with what we show you as your tips so that you don't get overwhelmed and distracted and feeling as if you're scattered and not knowing how to really work with your gifts. You have to really fine tune your gifts so that you can move forward in a very focused manner. And some people come very, very activated and they can feel a lot. And it's just a matter of really refining how you can feel, refining what you're sensing, refining what is your best way to, again, send and receive information, because you're meant, if you have those specific gifts that are highly attuned or high functioning, that means you can process a lot. You have a great capacity to process high vibrational information. And it's always, again, the infinity. You've got these beautiful, wonderful gifts, but you also have to learn how to work with them and hone them, because you can get very tired. You can feel very scattered. You can feel very taken advantage of if you're around people that don't know energy, or if they do know energy and they abuse it. Like those of us that are teachers and healers and leaders, we have to have many, many challenging situations where we have to really know how to set boundaries, really know how to tell certain energies to go away, really know how to honor our bodies and set filters, seals, boundaries for those that continually siphon and do binding work and all of those kind of things. So we have to really practice those, because we want to be able to teach people how to maintain their higher vibrational source essence within their own multidimensional systems without feeling so scattered and torn and pulled apart. That's going to be the biggest thing that we're going to have to practice over the next 2 years, is really reclaiming our light, reclaiming our multidimensionality, confidence, and being able to navigate whatever is before you without getting all, scared, because you don't need to. You just need to be able to hold yourself with that mantle and say, I understand. I want to connect with as many energies as possible. There will be those, once we reach 5D, our teams are being very, coddling with us. They're really staving off a lot of energies that, like for me, the last 10 years, it's just been 10 years of hell and curses and hexes from my whole lineage that I've worked through and I've transmuting like so much darkness and so much crap. It's just felt like going through hell over and over and over again. And people thinking they have entitlement on your energy, people thinking they have entitlement on your chakras, and people thinking they have entitlement on your life force. It's just been disgusting. And it's been like a daily constant battle to reclaim my energy and reclaim my chakras and reclaim my life force, and cutting the cords of every relationship from all 3D. You want to go into 5D as pure and as clean as possible, cutting off all soul contracts that have abused you and used you. But that takes practice. It takes practice to feel out what is yours. And that's why I do suggest celibacy, so that you can get used to what does your field feel like. It's not overnight to clear out sexual trauma. It doesn't take overnight for you to cut the cords of people that have been in your life for 30 years. And they keep returning back to your cycles. You have to feel within your own soul's contract, and do a review. I always say every month, do a life review. Who is in my life that I can just really let go of? Who is in my life that's taking up time and distraction and energy that refuses to grow and move on? Who is that which taking the most of you and giving the least? All of those are things that you have to discern for yourself. No, I'm worthy of more and I'm going to wait for better. If you have to be alone, then I'd rather be alone than be with people that use you and abuse you and do nothing but waste your time. So it's really important that you get used to looking in your fridge and pulling out what's not necessary is the same as looking at what's going on in your house, what's going on in your friendship circle, what's going on in your family circle. And a lot of the times those that we've been born with in our families are the ones that we've had the thickest and staunchest, karmic stories with. And they do transfer over from other planets and other celestial timelines. So we're healing so much. We're doing so much transmuting. I teach you how to do that and stand in your power. I teach you how to do that. Our ascension processes and our ascension training and our ascension healing is only taught through me. I teach you how to move through dark density traumas, dark night of the soul, demons, entities. I teach you how to do that, and I teach you how to do it with the Christic awareness, so that you know that you're in Christ consciousness energy. You can be activated within your light body. You can be activated within your source with God, inner, outer, as above, so below. And then in that, understanding that from here on out, the minutia and the bedding of the omnipresence is going to be, as God showed me, God will offer you. I'll try and explain as best I can. When we used to talk about, I'm just giving it to you from how I've shifted my perspective, because it matters. It matters if I'm telling you this because I'm human. I'm also a conduit. I'm also crystal. And so I can sense alien energies, but I'm going to give it to you in a shifting of perspective because it took me to a whole new level. When I used to think of my celestial beings, and I used to just sit there and say, okay, I'd like to talk to my Pleiadians, or I'd like to talk to my Sirians. I would specifically ask for those beings and those energies because I can sense the variations of where they are, where they're coming from, you know, who's before me, that kind of thing. And so what God offered me this morning was that think of it from here on out as the omnipresence. Because my intention is to help humanity soften into feeling already that we have been, as again, I'm going back and forth. This is important. Write this down. Over the next 6 months, there will be many veils that will be lifted. You're going to open the door. You're going to open the window. You're going to turn on the news. You're going to turn on your computer. And there will be things that will have been covered up that will rock your world that has been covered up and veiled. So how we're going to soften into this and prepare ourselves, because you are the healers, teachers, and leaders. You're going to be showing the way for those that are not so comfortable. So this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Think of it as the omnipresence. Instead of thinking of it as a celestial or a light gray or a Cassiopean or any of those energies, because we all, there's infinite species, trillions of beings that are out in our galaxies. Trillions, literally trillions. When we think of the omnipresent field is just an ongoing minutia, and those that are in my classes, I teach you how to work with the field. I teach you how to work with your chi. I teach you how to work with your omnipresence energy. I teach you how to transmute. This is the omnipresence that you can manifest your body healing. You manifest transmuting darkness and dark energies. When you walk through a place and it feels very dark, you work with your chi, you work with your field, and you call in light. You call in that life force. Everything is the omnipresence. Now, the omnipresence is whether you're on the Pleiades, whether you're in the Sirius, when you're in dark space, when you're in a void, doesn't matter. It's still omnipresence, still God. Now, soften into this. Instead of thinking from the 3D perspective that there's a celestial, there's grays, there's aliens, there's a light ship up there, I can see them, wonder where they're from. Switch your perspective. Open up your heart. The omnipresence is, I'm going to take you way out there, so just trust me on this and play with this and ponder at it, muse, imagine. The omnipresence is God, source, whatever you are requiring, your soul blueprint with God. I'm going to take you way out there, so just go with what I'm saying. You and God are the matter, spirit, representation of the heavens, psyche experience, micro, macro, humanoid form. Your DNA is everything. It's got lots of stuff in there. If you're in an experience where you're just walking along, as I told you in my sermon the other day, and I was going for a walk, I was hungry, but God said, just go for a walk. I went for a walk and I was given this multidimensional story. I was smelling, I was hearing, I was tasting. My body was being nourished. My body was being nourished. This is the omnipresence I'm trying to offer you. My omnipresence beingness, remember, we're godly. This is the shift. This is the perspective shift. And it's profound. It's an epiphany moment. My omnipresence being, that Sermon on the Mount was showing me, although in the moment of my carnal energy, my tummy was hungry, God said, go for a walk. As I went for a walk and just trusted God, I was given that multidimensional soup, the spices, the tangibility that my body needed to be nourished. I was fed with the air. I was fed with moving my muscles. I was fed with the movement. I was fed with taking my mind off it. I felt the beautiful warm breeze. As a multidimensional being, as a fish that gets put back in the water, I'm nourished. That in and of itself is an alien, celestial, multidimensional experience. I'm saying that from my perspective. I'm a conduit. I'm an essence of God that is very high functioning. Just as high functioning autistic people need certain things for them to be nourished. I'm very high functioning. I need certain things to be nourished. So God, the omnipresence, knows, because this is so far out there. I'm not sure if I can explain what I'm trying to offer you in multidimensional ways. because this is really wild. Because you're omnipresence, you're humanoid. So think of yourselves as omnipresence within the omnipresence. This is what I'm trying to move you into a new, higher vibrational state of being, because you're going to be the teachers, the healers, and the leaders of those that are not comfortable. The omnipresence knows when you're walking for a walk, the omnipresence God knows what you need. Does that make sense? If you also reflect on that sermon that I gave the other day. So, when you know this, God is, when you're going for a walk, doesn't matter where you are, God knows what you need. Just as I was passed out in the pharmacy, I was the omnipresence, and that sent an alert, and my teams were there to bless me and give me a healing. I know that. I know that now. I didn't know that then because I wasn't awake then. But now that I'm awake, I know that this is how connected I am with the omnipresence. As I'm going for a walk, I can be nourished. I can see the little birds over there. The lake is right behind me. Right behind me, the lake is there. I get nourished in so many ways because my bodies and my fields and my sensing, my interpersonal sensing, my personal sensing with God, my higher self, needs different things. I need those things to be nourished because I'm a higher vibrational being. Going out and partying and spending the night at the bar, those aren't things I need. As I said, when I know who I am, everything that's not me gets really left out, right? You're not allowing people from the past back. It's very clear what you need now. So if you're imagining your omnipresence, you are this moving, pulsating experience within God, and why those that are coming around me or near me, they feel the omnipresence in my field, because I'm more and more, as that sheath came down, I'm operating more and more in a higher vibrational omnipresence. It has to be. You have to be. When you get activated, you're a higher vibrational version of you. A sheath of your overself has come down and represented you as a higher version of you. You're wearing better clothes, if you will. Vibrationally, you need that feeding in different ways. Remember, God knows what God needs in any moment. That's why we can let go and we can release the spell work and all of those things that are done to control us, which has been the operative here on earth. The operatives have been fear-based control systems. The Illuminati and the Anunnaki, all of those programs that have been there for thousands and thousands of years, there was an agreement made that on December 31st, those beings were to leave and pull those programs out. And that was absolutely done all across our galaxy, and everybody knows that. Slowly, bit by bit, these programs and these people and these beings are being pulled out. That's why we're being faced and seen with what's coming out in our social reality. The agendas are being very blatantly seen. But it's up to every human as well to take responsibility. And that's where the biggest frustration has been for me. Humanity has not taken that big of responsibility. They're so normalized to the abuses. They're so normalized to low vibrational experiences that they very rarely do anything. And that's been the most frustrating thing for a high vibrational person, to be here. And it's like talking through mud because nobody cares. And it bothers high vibrational people like me. It's like, how can you not care? How can you not care that there's billions of dollars spent in underground debauchery? How do you not care about that? Who's going to heal these children? But because I'm a creator, my intention is that no, we have to create healing systems for millions of children that need to be healed. Who's doing that? Are the governments thinking about this? No, the governments don't give a crap. Governments are trying to hide their private agendas. They're just like the people in Maui. There's been zero movement to put these people back in houses. They don't give a shit. Their words and their very few actions might, and they're pushing paper back and forth. Nothing's being done. There's agendas going on there. So that's the hardest part about being here. But we have to also celebrate where we are, because the omnipresence is becoming more and more rich and nourishing for all of us, because we need something. We need to be nourished. So those of us that are taking it upon ourselves, we are the ones that are helping nourish those that are also in the soup. Those of us that are teachers, healers, and leaders, we're adding our energy to the soup. Every night I go to bed, I do my nourishing to the collective soup. I pray for the children, I pray for the earth, I pray for the water, I pray for clean air, I do my visualizations, I work with my fields, I work with my hands, I do Christ Reiki. That's what I do. I do that at night, every night. Every night I see the earth becoming what I want to be, a version of being in it. So I'm more and more becoming omnipresent. In that perspective shift, you're not separate from the Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, whatever it is you want to see as part of your celestial first contact, preparing yourself. Most of you already had first contact, you're just not remembering it. Because you've agreed with your teams as a soul part of your soul blueprint contract. Your soul blueprint is already contracted many species to be a part of your first contact experience. It's already decided, it's already planned. You've already had versions of first contact. You just don't remember it because it's not time for you to remember, because there's still a few layers that you have to move through. There's still a few transmutations you have to do. Your soup still has to be tempered, if you will. And so you working with these new versions of modalities of who you are, again, your enhancements, your modifications of your beingness, coming to our videos, coming to our classes, doing our sessions, creating personal client sessions. If you want to create those healing sessions with me, anything that you can do to continue your higher vibrational omnipresence mechanisms, how you're moving about life, choosing your own modifications, choosing how you want to enhance yourself, choosing to clean out your fridge, and all of those things, you are manifesting your soup into higher vibrational experiences. And that shows you, because you're doing that elevator, getting in and pushing the button, it's going to return that back to you. And why we keep saying, when you see something and you perceive something and you experience something as the omnipresence, it knows around you what it is you need in your soup, because you're the one pulsing it out. God knows. You don't have to tell God that you need something for God to say, okay, this is what we need. No, God knows that you need that. But it's just like your higher self. You don't need to validate anything with your higher self. Your higher self doesn't need to validate anything. Your higher self already knows. Just like that being there is the minute I passed out. When you know that, it's instant. That's God. God knows what you already need. It's a part of your practicing minutia of you speaking with spirit, because again, you're getting used to working with your spirit as respecting beings of all that is. They're a part of your minutia. They're a part of your soup. They understand the challenges here. They understand the struggles here. And you have to get used to working with spirit in a respectful and honoring way, and have that be part of that first contact, part of that shift is, and this is what God showed me. When God knows what God knows, God knows me inside and out. God knows, because God is a part of making that blueprint with you. There's a handful of soulmates that are with you on this journey, depending on when they awaken, their free will, their choices. God will make sure that the highest vibrational being, even if that higher vibrational being comes from another planet and takes a body, which God has shown me, there are those that are lined up that want to go on this journey with me, because those from the past have chosen to do so much harm to me. And so they're not an option anymore. And which I wouldn't want them as an option anyways. Which is why I chose a divorce. But those beings that are in my now future, there's many beings that are lining up that are going to take a body and come and be a part of the game. So you never have to, this is why I said, you don't ever have to worry about, spell work or forcing people to be with you or asking for your soulmate or all of these things that go on. You don't have to do any of that. Just you being you, enriching you, God will align to make sure that whatever you need in your soup, God will bring it. Especially if you've done your 51% of karma, it's up to you now to have a really great time, because you want to offer the highest vibration of love, because you've cleared all your karma. That means that you're operating as a very, a higher refined essence of the God omnipresence. So the more love that you are, it adds to the soup of the all. So God wants that for you. God wants you to be totally in love. God wants you to be given to reciprocally 100%, right? So God wants that for you, as you want that for you, because it's your highest and your best. Especially if there's been people like me that have been messed around and delayed for so long. God really wants those loving relationships with you. And they also told me that in this next coming phase, it is very important for our evolution, for us, because I had a different concept and a different mindset to it. This is why I'm saying it. It's, as my guide said, it's very important that we, relationships are very, very important to the evolutionary process. Because it is everything. It's how you allow yourselves to work through your divine masculine and feminine energies. It's how you learn to be androgynous and complementing each other in the divine plan for humanity. And that's all a part of the evolutionary role for those that are learning to be masters. And so just know that God will always allow for the highest and the best. And if there's those that have had that change of twin flame or soulmate, whatever they're called, the words don't matter. God can make a new contract just like that at a breath, because God knows what you need. Thank you, Spirit. God knows that you need things to nourish you. So God is not going to allow people that don't nourish you, that don't respect you, that don't care about you, have done nothing but steal and take and rape you. God's not going to allow them to continually come back. They're not allowed. They're taken out of that omnipresent soup. They're not allowed to access you. They have to go away and they have to do the work. And God will then replace a new soul contract. And then out of the collective of the galaxy, so far they're just showing me as this universe. Out of this universe, there's various 4 or 5 beings that can take a body anytime, and they can be, you know, I'll go on a trip somewhere and all of a sudden I'll meet someone walking around a corner. That's how quick that can happen. So I really want you to focus on the omnipresence knows what you need, and your teams and your guides and your ancestors are planning and helping you have the highest vibrational life for you. You always have your teams and your guides always working with you. They're supporting you, they're protecting you. Again, this is for those that have done the 51% of the karma, are doing and working on their karma. Those that are completely disregarding the universal laws, those that are disregarding, the, you know, still doing spell work, still trying to force somebody in your life, and the voodoo and the hexes, all that kind of crap. There's 2 sides of this story. Those of you that have been listening to these channels and continuing to do those things, you won't be supported, you won't be protected, and you won't be allowed in the contract of somebody that is going on their way. So there is that shifting out, that sifting out. It has to be. Those ingredients are not going to be allowed in your soup, because God wants you to be, God will lift you. No, I'm getting in the elevator, I'm lifting it up, I see myself as the most high. Don't allow anybody that's coming in that is disrespectful, because you want those ingredients to be pure and refined in your soup. Everything is vibrational. So as you know that you're the omnipresence, pulsating omnipresence, and the omnipresence is pulsating, you know, right back to you, that essence of God knows what you need. The energies of, like for me, I love to feel my insectoids. I love to feel Arcturians. I love the Arcturians. They always make me cry. Cassiopeians, you know, they're just so very soft and gentle. You know, my Plutonians. All of them have different vibrations. So God knows that, as like when I was, you know, speaking with God today, and I was said, my intention is just to give a channel and a message and a video about softening humanity into feeling more comfortable and feeling more excited and feeling more vibrationally, you know, vibrant about, you know, celestials and aliens and all of those things. And so we're talking about the omnipresence being that when you're sending out those pulsations, God knows what you need, and God will deliver it back in the version of a vibration. The omnipresence is showing you what that vibration is and can be, because entities, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all the way up to the 14th dimension, they can refine their vibration so much more refined than we can when we're just learning how to sense vibration. Does that make sense? So like one of my guides is a 7th, 8th dimensional being. Arcturian is a very astute being at alchemy, a very astute magician. This being is a very capable, high vibrational capacity to really move in and out of energy at a very highly refined pace and rate. So he's with me right here. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so he's coming with his staff. He's very beautiful. And so he's been with me quite a bit and teaching me how to fine-tune my gifts, fine-tune my pinpointing, and how to allow yourself to navigate within bigger bands of energy and smaller bands of energy. The denser a being or an energy is, the smaller bandwidth it has. It can't move very much in the bandwidth because it's very small. There's very limited space for them to believe nothing's possible, right? Those are like the stories that we've been sharing. When you're shut down, when you're in dogmatic stenches, when you're in, you know, evidential, you know, experiences, they're very shut down. There's no room. You know, there's no wiggle room. That bandwidth is very small and it's very easy to read. That's why we said when somebody's lying, it's very easy to read because there's no bandwidth in it. You know, even if somebody thinks that they're being a shapeshifter and a trickster, there's no bandwidth in it because you just know they're lying. So then you just move on, right? So you can discern the energy in front of you. And so that's why too, learning and being, you know, really excited about the bandwidth and not judge it. But it's for you to say, is this a truthful energy? You know, what are you intending? Where's your vibration at? Because that's what you're gonna call in. So it's important that you get used to working with everything being the omnipresent. God knows what you need. Your teams know what you need. As you're working with your teams, you can set the intention every day if you so choose, but allow yourself time to relax too and just move around and navigate, because God wants to surprise you. The omnipresence wants to surprise you with a new vibration. Just as we shared that story with you about the Sermon on the Mount, my focus was my hungry tummy. My focus was not having money for gas on all of those things. Just allowing yourself to be with God in the omnipresence, and you're going to be met with a beautiful nourishment meal. As a conduit, as a high functioning, that's what I needed. I needed that multiverse experience. I needed to be fed centrally. All of my senses were fed that day. And so that was my feeding, right? So because again, too, and we're fifth dimensional, we're going to be more and more breatharian. So we're not going to need what we think we need to survive in a 3D experience, if you will. We're not going to be needing food. We're going to be living off berries and water-rich foods, and it's going to be less and less, meat. We won't be eating meat. Those kind of things, because we're more attuned with the life force feeding us, the light feeding us, God feeding us. God knows what we need. And so too, they're saying, this is really exciting. Thank you, God. That as we're going for this walk, we'll keep on with that same story. So if we're going out, we're going for a beautiful nature walk, our body is that omnipresence in the omnipresence, the field of God with the field of God. You're going to manifest. So we're taking it one step farther. I manifested that blackberry bush. So God is showing me that was a joint manifestation between me and the omnipresence, being a God. Get used to allowing yourself to know that you're part of the magnificence and the co-creation of the omnipresence field. That's how we're going to be manifesting from thought. So it's okay from now on, if we can, really start feeling yourself and thinking about everything being the omnipresence. Everything is the omnipresence. Your body is sending out, and when you're aligned and you're working with the tips and techniques that we show you, you're going to be sending out those pulsations that are just naturally going to call in an insectoid when you want an insectoid vibration. Just as if I sat down and talked today. I just sat down and I just started writing, and I was having a conversation with God, and all of a sudden my insectoids were around me because God knew that pulsation my body needed. So I really want to make that clear. That was the biggest tip that we're giving you today. Because you're omnipresence, in the omnipresence, you're the psyche experience of God. You don't have to tell God what you need. It's good to have those conversations, but when you're allowing yourself as the omnipresence, just pulsating those loving vibrations, knowing that your body will always be nourished by the omnipresence because you're feeding into it as well. You're giving into it as well. That you're going to be given back when you need it, how you need it, and what way you need it. That's the biggest thing, the shifting of perspective that we have about first contact. We want you to go wider. We want you to go bigger. We want you to go grander. We want you to know that you're manifesting those contacts already. So thank you. So that's what the insectoids that were with me that God brought to me, because God said, we know you love your insectoids. We're going to bring you insectoids. That's first contact. They're going to get more and more visceral, tangible, and the beings will start showing themselves to you. Of course, I'm going to give exceptions to that because not everybody is at the consciousness level I'm at. Not everybody is versed with as many celestial species as I am, and I get that. And I'm here to excite you and to empower you and to know that when you work with that vibration of you being the omnipresence and everything is God, everything is the omnipresence, it's taking it from a whole new level than what we've ever thought of before, because I like to take you guys above and beyond of whatever has been. We're meant to break all conformity. We're meant to break all notions and concepts of what we've ever been taught. Everything is the omnipresence. Every aspect of matter is a co-creation between you and the Creator. And of course, all other aspects of life in that environmental bubble. So if you're more and more excited and open and honoring, okay, so they give me a download. If you're more and more in opening and honoring of all life being life, and you're releasing your discriminations and your judgments, because this is why contact is not made happen already, because there's discriminations and judgments, because the human collective is not ready, because there's wars going on. So how are you going to be able to see a Pleiadian and think that they're going to steal from you and take from you and suck the life out of your crown chakra when they're the ones that have given us life? Remember, everything in the multiverse, there's always a negative and a positive. How to navigate energy is your mastery. That's God's gift to you. No, you can manifest anything. You can navigate anything. You're going to have to navigate through those that don't want the best for you, and you're going to have to discern it, and you're going to have to say, no, move on. Because the omnipresence is going to be full of infinite energies. You don't want to say that energy will never be allowed back again. No, you're allowed to say you're going to go away because I don't want to engage with that energy, but it's still a part of God. It's still a part of source. You can still accept it, allow it, and honor it as itself, right? 3 A's, right? So that omnipresence is going to be the soup of everything. And you get to choose in your direct energy environment, what do you want the spices to be? What do you want the vegetables to be? What do you want those to be that are going to nourish that soup with you? You get to choose the ingredients. You get to choose the minutia of vibrational choice, if you will. But it's still all omnipresence. Your celestials will show up the more and more that you're aligning, because it's always about vibrational alignment. You're vibrationally aligning to those energies that are most refined for you. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 examples because those of you are on the line because they're showing me. You're sending off those energies. It's got the beautiful sun is there, and it's just rained, so it looks really pretty. I'm seeing the little crystal energies in the raindrops. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. We're going to talk about the omnipresence celestial energies. Some of you are very connected with the grays. Some of you are very connected with species, again, nature species, the biosphere. Those are all celestial and alien energies because a lot of the plant life on planet Earth has come from other planets. Our planet was deposited with much celestial, multi-vibrational, galactic energies and species. And it's all very different, if you will. When we're talking about, we want to release all judgments and definitions about aliens. Everything is really alien to us, but we are a part of that alienness. A celestial gray standing before us, we are aliens to the grays. We've offered them a lot of our DNA, and we're reintegrating the grays into a higher vibrational human gray experience called the light grays. They're more humanoid. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And there are light grays that are also part of our lineage that I'm also assisting in helping them through the hybrid programs become more acclimatized, and they will be coming to Earth, the light grays, as a part of gratitude and thanks for us allowing our DNA to be offered to them for their evolutionary expansiveness. And not all grays are bad. There's a lot of judgments out there that we all have to transmute. This is what I'm saying. We're going to soften into this being that everything is omnipresent. There's alien energies in the omnipresence all the time. There's celestial energies in the omnipresence all the time. Whatever you're vibrating at, I hope I explain this. It's a very complex subject. So my teams are just laughing at me because they're not laughing. I'm laughing. I'm laughing, and they're saying, just go slow, Joanna. It's a very complex topic you're talking about. I'm taking everybody to a different level if you so choose. And if you don't so choose, I don't care. I'm always pressing the button. I'm always pressing the box, and so I'm going to be allowing you to go on a ride that's farther out. We talked about the DNA allocation, right? Everybody put a thumbs up, DNA allocation. DNA allocation means that as you're processing and integrating the shadow, your beliefs, your paradigms, your who you are, what you exist in, what exists within you, you're coming to a new now moment, and then you're operating in this new higher version of now allness. You're integrating your allness. You don't want anything to be left out. Then you get to discern your intention, direction, and focus. What are you creating? What are you creating? What are you creating? In all of these minutiae, taking it a step further, Christ Consciousness Coding download right now. Your DNA allocation, which nobody's ever told you, I'm telling you right now, these teachers are only done through me. That DNA allocation sends out a scent, a sensual scent. All of your multidimensional vibrational systems now know the omnipresence has just been upgraded as you were upgraded through your DNA allocation. That means a new codon was bathed in light. You got activated. Your whole multi-vibrational systems just got upgraded. That new interface just got put on. You now have a different perspective of who your smell, your scent, your vibration, your coding has now had this activation. How you walks differently as you walk. Does that make sense? Everything affects the all. The one change changes the all. Your omnipresence has been altered. You're no longer compartmentalizing. You're now free-flowing as more omnipresent. You're just sending out a new scent to the all as a higher refined, higher coded, higher prepared, activated, opened, allowed, cosmic, refined being of source. There's less and less clogging you. That DNA allocation, again, everybody is different. Everybody's DNA allocation is different. Your temperament, your pacing is different. How you're coded is different. Every single person on this earth, every single human on this earth is activated in different ways, unique timings, divine timings, why you have guides, why you have God. The more you work with God, the more you get in the elevator, go in and push the button. That's all your DNA allocation. How you're offering yourself, how you're integrating and being that minutia, giving and receiving. Again, if you've got gifts and you're not using that, if you've got aspects of you that you're not using, you're not speaking for your spirit, not speaking and using the divine entanglement that's in your chakras, if you're not aware of your fields, you're not working with your fields, you don't care about your fields, you're not going to be entangled as much and as refined and as attuned as I am. You got to get in the elevator and you got to push the button. I'm teaching you how to be more refined. I'm teaching you how to be a higher vibrational being. I'm teaching you how to be an omnipresent being where you're already contacting alien celestial life and they're already contacting you. With that DNA allocation, we're going to talk more about in my class on the 9th. Giving you an example. Again, we talked about the grays. Now we're going to talk about my DNA. My DNA just got activated to, so they're giving me 68% of and this is really complex, so don't think you have to get it, don't think you have to understand it. I'm giving you this as an example. My DNA, 68% of insectoid. Very complex. It's a multidimensional thing that I just said. That DNA allocation of 68% of my insectoid energy. That means that codon that had that 68% of insectoid, my refinements of what I'm pulsing out and what I need to be nourished, the aspect of me psyche experience of source is pulsing out a higher refined code, sound, harmonic of insectoid energy. So as I sat down today and I was saying, let's do a thing about, because I've been sensing, let's do a video that's going to soften a little bit more and have a new understanding of what alien, insectoid, celestial, all of these beautiful energies are that are our brethren. They're our sisters. It's who we are. It's our DNA. We don't have to think of it as separate. We don't have to think of it as, anybody trying to take our planet over, anybody trying to take this. No, that's what has been happening. All 3,000 years upon this planet, that is what has been happening. The various agendas to use resources, the various agendas to distract us from our life force, the various agendas to have us confused and controlled and numb and dumb about who we are. That's what we've been sitting in. As these veils are pulled and these flimsies are pulled off, it's going to shock a lot of people to think that, no, people outside of us aren't going to control us. It's the people that have been on the planet that have been trying to control us. We've had it all backwards. The beings that have been in our space and surrounding us, they are operating always by universal laws. They understand God's plan. This planet has been off limits for any outside interference because we are a diverse planet that's meant to have a very high vibrational, high value diversity. This planet is a jewel. This is God's plan for us to be highly, 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 highly diverse. So the operating energies of our space, they know. We have a code in our space. We're not meant to be messed with. And the Celestials know that because they operate within the universal laws. They understand universal laws. God will shut something down as soon as anybody tries to come in and take over our brains. Because there's very shut off people. There's very ignorant people that have very ignorant thoughts and beliefs about, celestials and aliens because they believe in old movies or they believe in fear programming because that's where they were. They're in that fear, right? And there's going to be those that will, say those things to you and you'll just, let them believe what they want to believe and you continue on your way talking with your insectoid friends. So getting yourself used to the very shift of perspective, there will be many things that you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be all backwards. Because what's been going on Earth has been how we've survived has been a miracle. Those of us that are highly empathic and celestial. That's why God says it's time for us to celebrate. It's time for us to really receive. Those of us that have been on this path for so very long, this next phase of our ascension path is for us to receive. And nobody on any realm, for the 14th, all species up to the 14th dimension, they know that it's my time to receive and nothing will get in the way of that and everything will be moved out of the way. Do you see what I'm saying? There's such a vibrational respect and benevolence in our soul contracts. When you understand your soul blueprint, there's beings that are going to come in and out when you're contracted to be with these beings because your body and your soul needs that nourishment. God knows. Your teams know. There never ever has to be any ridiculousness of spell work. There never ever has to be ridiculousness of abuse of light and life, like sacrificing. Anybody that's involved in sacrificing has no idea what they're doing. They don't understand the ramifications of soul damage. They don't understand the ramifications of the damage and the karma they bring to their families. They don't understand. It's a very, very slow, low, closed vibrational experience. Anybody that works with sacrificing. It's a very, very dark, controlling, dominating experience that their souls have contracted to move through. There is nothing good that will come from sacrificing, except your very profound, dark soul lesson that you have to transmute. It's a very powerful soul lesson. It's a dark lesson because the Pleiadians showed me, as I wrote about on my post this morning, years and years ago when I was channeling with the ninth dimensional Pleiadians, they did tell me that we've all had experiences on timelines of being in dark magic and using energies malevolently. We've all had those experiences. We can't get to be a master of light, if you will, without those integrations of those experiences. When we take anybody's life force in any way, it causes a great soul damage to the people that you take it from. And that's why there's things that are worked out in your karma. There's things worked out in the soul contracts that you go. And this is why anybody that's messing with anybody on an intentional basis, then they go into other people's lanes and they force themselves into other people's lanes, they force themselves into other people's stories, all the control and the stalking and the targeting, all that bullshit that's done. It's on karma on top of karma on top of karma on top of karma, because you already have in your soul's blueprint various beings that you have to work through karma with because you took their life force in another lifetime. So all that stuff is already worked out in your soul blueprint, but people are just so ignorant and they're not aware and they're not knowledged and they're not learned and they're not aware of anything because they're either stuck in a low vibrational religious belief, they're stuck in their serving deities that are very low vibration. They're giving their power away to these and they're chanting to these deities and they're doing sacrifice to these deities. They just don't have any clue about anything. They're just willy-nilly practicing anything and they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing with their life force. They don't know what they're doing with the planet. They don't know what they're doing with anything because they're not practiced in what we teach. They're not practiced in their soul blueprint. They have no idea who they are. They don't know what they exist within and they don't know what's going on within them. And so they do these things because they hear, wow, I might get some power. I might get a title. I might get a singing job. I might be really popular in the collective if I do a sacrifice. If I sacrifice my brother, boy, oh boy, that means I'm going to get his life force and I'm going to be really important. Wow, if we sacrifice this one healer, she's really up there in the spiritual ranking. If we sacrifice her, our coven's going to be really rich and we're going to live forever off the monies and the royalties of that one light worker. We're going to be seen really good in the dark underworld because we're going to sacrifice this one light worker. Do you know how stupid it is? There's no concept of anything. No concept that spirit source, the omnipresence, has beings of the most delicate and elegant vibrational richness and color all over the universe that come when one lightworker needs help and support. And those energies and those vibrations are nourishing and bathing and nourishing and bathing. And things are being worked out behind the scenes to make God's plan move with those cogs being put in the wheel and the little rocks sliding into place and the little flimsies sliding into place. That veil gets lit. You have no idea the multiverse, the multidimensional mechanisms, the beings that help, the consciousness that help, our very intentions, our directions, our focus, our doing our own energy work, the infinite amount of touch points that have to occur for the beauty and the elegance and the grace of God's plan. Timelines being aligned, people being aligned, mechanisms being aligned, and anybody that comes and so arrogantly and selfishly does spell work to block and steals mail to block and all the crap that was done just on my one experience. And I'm giving you this because it's so rampant in our world. It's rampant in politics. It's rampant in entertainment. We're hearing the stories every day of the entertainment business, the entertainment moguls, the big company moguls, the banking moguls, the leadership mogul, everything, and how much people use and abuse sacrifice, and they have no idea what they're doing. They don't have any idea. So we're really wanting to bring this beautiful consciousness Hello, the beautiful energies that are online. The beautiful consciousness of this omnipresence shift of perspective, which is a total paradigm shift. When God told me that paradigm shift about the omnipresence, my insectoid energies were right there. And it's like, oh, I got nourished and I felt so happy. I just felt the love that only can come from the insectoids, because I have so many species timelines with them. I have so many different planetary experiences with them. They told me a long time ago that there is that one ship that one light ship that's in my video about those light ships that I talked about. That light ship that was there, many of those beings that are on that light ship are the species from the many different planets. I call them the systems of light. The systems of light are now called, what I've been told, the galactic federations, because they're benefiting, they're supporting, they're being a benevolence to all systems within the light systems. And the Galactic Federation is a federation that serves the systems of light. So the species that I connect with, thank you, Holy Spirit, thank you, Holy Spirit, the insectoids are from many different star systems. And because of my refinements, because I'm here to help different programs, hybrid program, crystalline program, the indigo program, grids, and the Gaia, there's many different things that I work with on different councils that I work with. So I have to have those nourishments, those spices, as we talked about, in my soup, if you will, for me to be nourished as the being that I am. Because again, and when you're turned off and you don't know and you're not working with your gifts and skills, you're wasting a lot of your source energy, your source light, your source refinements. So once you start getting the activations, when you start being turned on to your gifts and skills and talents, when you start being turned on to who you are as a Christ consciousness, and you're working within your sacred Trinity, the heavens programs, Gaia programs, and your collective programs, that's your sacred Trinity. When you start working and honoring the ascension pathwork that we offer you, you start becoming more and more aware and in tune with what you need to be nourished by as a high-functioning, high empathic conduit, channeler, psychic, whatever you want to call yourself, because everybody comes forward with different gifts. I'm a conduit. There's not very many conduits on the planet. There will be more and more, because our planet will be so high diversified. So we're meant to be as species diverse as possible. So that's why Spirit God chose me as one of the ones, not the only one, but one of the ones that will come forward and be a leader, especially for Divine Feminine, rewriting the Divine Feminine story within our social collective, to be very vast and diverse in the different energies that we're meant to get used to anchoring. We're meant to bring forward many of the ancient Egyptians were very knowledgeable about the various species. They practiced it in their temple work. And so we've been kind of closed off to it, and we've been more refined in our limitations of how we understand celestials or aliens. Anything that is not in humanoid form we think is an alien, but it's really the omnipresence. We want to shift your perspective. Everything is the omnipresence. You're a micro macro of the omnipresence. Your body, your energy, your taste, your scent will send out what you need. As I said, God knows what you need. Because I've activated that 68% of my celestial insectoid energy on my DNA, that DNA sends out a code, sends out an energy, sends out a vibration. And so more, the planet and Gaia will also respond to you quicker. That's why we're going to be doing a lot of our healing in Gaia with Gaia, because the omnipresence biosphere, Gaia's pulsation, will assist us in our healing because we're more in tune with her. That's why we say go out in nature, refine your eating, because you're becoming more and more refined in your pulsations of being omnipresent. That means you're going to be attracting omnipresent in different ways, in different variations. You're going to call in different friends. You're going to call in different activations or energies or beings, because you need to be nourished. You need to be activated. And so too is those that God sends us, and we send God in our source. The omnipresence is all God. We're now becoming, again, who are you, what do you exist, and what exists in you? We're now becoming more naturally enmeshed, and we're naturally becoming more harmonized with ourselves as omnipresence. The omnipresence is our allness, essentially. The more aware you are of your allness, the more integrative of you are of your wellness. Again, all of our videos are culminating onto each other. You're allowing that integration of your allness to send out different vibrations of pulsations, your taste, your scent. My scent just got upgraded within my insectoid DNA. So that means that pulsation that I had sent out when I talked to you about my experience today, God knew that I wanted my insectoid energy because it just got activated. I needed more of that information. And this is where you can feel very satisfied because God's always feeding you. That's why you're going to find your eating habits change. You're going to want to change your eating habits. You're not going to be wanting to be nourished in different ways, because when you have a big part, as many different things occur. So your soul blueprint is so complex. I'm giving you just these examples in human words because that's all we have right now. When your DNA gets activated, let's say, and it's a very high intelligence, like the insectoids are very highly intelligent, and they're very, can you just speak through me right now, insectoids, so that I'm saying the right things so I can give a vibrational match to your download, please? Yes, so they're saying that they work very specifically with the sensory systems and how we pick up information and how we receive information. Those of you that are coded at very specific experiences of your soul's divine plan, they're always going to be activated into what you're stepping into next, to preparing you for that next step and level, if you will. Those of you that are acutely attuned to reading different energy, sensing different energy, your fields will be modified and enhanced therein equally. As your DNA gets activated, your fields and your bodies and your downloads and your foods and your nourishments and how you want to be nourished as a multiverse being, as an omnipresent being, will also be equally activated. And we help you assist with those because some of you are very acute in your refinements, acute in your attention to send and receive information becomes more viable. Because again, many people have been spending their entire 3D lifetime very turned off. When you get turned on, there will be, as we said yesterday or the day before, there's going to be those growth pains, that kickback, because you're going to have to get used to a new level of heightened refinement, of heightened omnipresence. The more highly attuned you are in your omnipresence beingness, you're going to call in those highly refined beings of beingness. You're going to call in a higher vibrational audience if you're on YouTube. You're going to call in a higher vibrational audience of friends, of lovers, of those things, because God wants you to be equally nourished. The omnipresence. You're sending out that pulsation. No, I want higher vibrational, audience. I don't want to keep talking to the ones that keep doing black magic. They've had enough time with me as a representation of God, because I was placed before them for them to wake up. I know that. I was placed before them as a gift from God to say, these are ways that you can change and alter your course if you so choose, but there's always free will. And that's the unconditional love that God and the omnipresence offers. But as a conduit, as a token of serving God and serving humanity and serving all multiverses, because a lot of those beings were not in this universe, they were a different universe. And I float back and forth. That's how I shift my consciousness. I weave back and forth in these vibrations and dimensions because, again, as we talked about earlier, I can have a bandwidth that's very wide, which is one of my guides why they work with me in that way, because they help me move within bigger bandwidths. Those bandwidths that are very small and dense, they're hard to move within, and I don't like being there. And so God has to move me because I need to be nourished too. I need to be healed too. And there was a lot of dark play in my energy, and they delayed me, for a very long time. And there was a lot of damage done. So now it's time for me to receive. So God is nourishing me as much as possible because God said it's time for me to receive now. It's time for me to be in receivership. It's time for me to be lifted and respected in the way that I should be. Just as Jesus, I'm that following, continuing story of the Jesus story. We're lifting Jesus to new levels now. We're not going to keep seeing Jesus in the way that we were taught and told. No, we want to start bringing more respect and honor to Jesus' story, that there's far more than we were taught or told. We don't want to continually see him or idolize him on the cross. No, Jesus was in so much that Jesus knew and didn't really get written about as his understanding and because he was a conduit of his interfacing with nature and the biosphere. There was so much that's written in the texts that were written and the scriptures that were written that he had a lot of interaction with the biosphere. And so I'm continuing those stories so that we expand who we are, releasing ourselves from the dogmatic and religious bindings. And really, again, when they were telling me that there's going to be those sheaths and those flimmies lifted off, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to see your reality backwards on how much really was fear-based and controlled in the reality we exist within. And we allowed it for so long, and we've conformed to it for so long. We don't ever have to worry about the outer celestial alien energies or whatever's coming out in the social collective about beware or whatever controlling things that the outer celestials or aliens might do. No, that was happening on Earth. So really be discerning about what stories you're going to feed into, because the stories that, like the agendas of the war, the underlying agenda of that war was the arms race. And I brought that forward. I was the only one that said that. And that's why those people, leaders, know God will give certain statements through those that are chosen. And I was the only one that stated that. So there's various stories and things that we're being shown or played, but you have to read into the discernment of the stories, just like the unfortunate events of Maui and the unfortunate events of the war. There's underlying themes and corruptions there that are really within our own collective, and it's really sickening. So we don't have to worry about the outer skies coming and controlling us and taking us over and, sucking the life out of our brains. No, that's been done here on Earth by our very own family members. So we have to really start thinking that there is the divine program for Earth's ascension, Earth's evolution, the divine program for humanity. Gaia is meant to be a very diverse planet of many different species. And I'm one of the ones that's here to talk about the various diverse species and really get used to being omnipresent. Really get used to being you're an aspect of all alien and celestial, depending on what part of your DNA. Because I've worked through 51% of my karma, that DNA is going to be activated more and more, and I get to be more refined. I get to send out a more acute tone. That's how the insectoids are showing me. It's a vibration. Thank you, Holy Spirit. When you become your activational integration of your DNA, it doesn't just occur like that. Your DNA gets activated, but then you have to minutia that activation in your multidimensional biophysical, biochemical experience. That's why we've offered you the tips and techniques and hints that we offer you so that you can practice being higher and trained, because that is how you become that higher and trained. Just because your DNA gets activated, you still have to get in the elevator and push the button. You still have to work your multidimensional bodies. You have to use sound. You have to use visualizations, new affirmations. You have to entrain at being higher vibrational. That's what we offer you. That's what we teach. So in that 68%, we're just giving this as an example because infinite species, right? And as you become more acclimatized to a higher vibrational platform template, which is 5D, we're entering the first phase of 5D, which means we're going to be talking more expansively on more expansive templates, more expansive bedding, how your earth will look in an expansive way, how you will feel in an expansive way. When you're walking as an omnipresent, micro, macro, as above, so below, as within, so without, the psyche experience of God, you're walking as a greater minutia of God. You are the omnipresent in the omnipresent. Your pulsation is now different. It's more of a 68% insectoid refinement. So they're showing me now, they're giving me an example of my celestials. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Whether it doesn't matter what the celestial is, if it's a Pleiadian, Arcturian, Slayer, Syrian, because they are in their unique form. So they're giving me this as an example so I can show you. Because any being that's standing before me, because they're all in my field right now, they're standing before me. So all of these beings standing before me, each one of them, in whatever dimension they're in, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way up to the 12th. Thank you, Holy Creators. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Just saying hello to everybody. See, there's an infinite number of energies that are flowing through me right now. So I'm threading any vibrations that want to tap in. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So all of these beings are standing before me. Each one of those beings, in whatever form they want to be in, if they want to be in a body form, if they want to be in a light being form, they want to be in a bird, celestial, insectoid, doesn't matter what form they take. Every single one of them has a unique sensory system for them to perceive what I'm standing in, the vibration I'm standing in. This is why when we shift our perspective from a being out there connecting with us as first contact, no, you're the omnipresence. Your omnipresence is being refined so that you're sending out a more refined energy vibration. And anybody standing before you, whether it's a human or a celestial or an alien or a cetacean or a dog, they're more sensing a refined vibration from you. They're showing me so that all of these beings standing in front of me, the Syrian, the Pleiadian, the insectoid, are sensing into, and each of them have a different reading on me based on their unique sensory toolkit, right? The insectoids are very refined in field, right? Field. When I walk in nature, I feel. When God gives me a download, it's more like an inner feeling. God puts that imprint in me. It's not clairaudient, it's not clairsentience, it's just an imprint that God presses in me, and I tell a story. It's just an immediate knowing. And it comes in a multi-dimensional, multi-sensory way. I might see, I might feel, I might smell. It's an all-in-one experience. That's why it can't be broken down to just one clairsentience or clair-knowing or clairaudient. There's more, it's all in one. That's the difference between an empath, a conduit, and those imprints that I talk about as God imprints. It's not through the third eye. Some are through the third eye. When I do have those when I do have those visual visions, that is a visual thing. But when God gives me that imprint, it's a now knowing and it's a right now story. And it can be visual, smelling, hearing. My field turns on. Like when the insectoids come in my field, I feel them in my field. I don't feel them in here. I feel them in my field. That field reminds me of that memory, that emotion, that cellular memory, because I'm part insectoid, is part of my DNA. I feel that immediate love. So all of my beingness as an omnipresent being now pulses out a different, they're calling it radiant gradation. So I'm speaking from an eighth dimensional perspective. That being that I told you about that is very highly attuned to Arcturian, my Arcturian guide, that's the guide that's in eighth dimension, very, very highly, saying astute, very, so they're saying, he's saying expert. He wants to be known as an expert. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. So they're getting me used to calling myself as an expert, to move about energy in an expert way of a very big bandwidth. So that being can move about energy in a very big way and sometimes go undetected. I have to really tune into that energy because, again, that energy is very, very expert. My guides have told me that he's always here with me, but I have to really tune into his energy because he's so vast. He's huge. He's got a massive energy, and he can move in and out of any energy. He can move in and out of a tree, and I sense the tree, but I have to really fine tune to see, are you in there? So there'll be beings that, because sometimes he doesn't want to be known. He just wants to know that he's always with me. So that's why you have to work with your guides and have that entanglement, have that relationship and connection, which is what we said is going to be huge in this next coming, because you're going to start to connect in relationship yourself with the omnipresence. Whatever you need to feel from a celestial or an alien or even Gaia, the biosphere is so rich. And the water, our communication with water, because our Christed water body is how we communicate as celestials and aliens. That was going to be more and more turned on and amplified the more you get used to understanding that when you have your DNA allocations and you have your DNA, the allocations are like a fanning out. My DNA allocations say 68% of the insectoid just got activated here, and then there was another, say, 10% of Arcturian. So that DNA activation was not just that 68%. There was other allocations that were done, because that codon is very rich. If you look at the codon of the DNA, that can encapsulate 10 different species. It might not be that 68 is a really huge thing, because I'm going into a new phase now where I'm going to be reading energy at a bigger capacity, and I have to work on my gifts more refined. So that was needed. Again, the soul blueprint is very complex. And when you go through a DNA activation, depending on how much you've worked through of your karma, the densities, working with your, the gifts that the tips and the hints and the tricks that we show you, transmuting and just integrating all, your DNA is going to be exactly, allocated for what you need for that next version of you, to practice, to get in the elevator and practice your skills, to push that button to go into a new version of you, a new version of exploration with your 3 E's. Exploration, expression, and experience. You want to experience yourself more richly. You want to go into that omnipresent soup so that omnipresent returns it back to you. That's where you're going to be manifesting from a much more soulfully rich, to be rich in spirit, as we've talked about in our other videos, because you're going to want to practice these variations of who you are in a very rich and dynamic way. So you want to give yourself those very voluptuous experiences about practicing your omnipresence and releasing those energies about seeing an alien in front of you. Release those, because you're going to be calling in a lot more as you're seeing yourself and feeling yourself and understanding your multidimensionality as you get activated, as you're working on integrating the soul fragments and integrating the dark and the shadow and the light and all of those things, and seeing everything in your outer reality as a part of you. You're going to be feeling yourself as this omnipresent, stepping up to a whole new vibration of sensing. And that sensing is different and unique to each and every one of you. Again, it's specific to your soul blueprint. It's specific to who you are as a divine being of the Creator, and what aspects of those DNA allocations that are going to help you in this next leveling up to assist with whatever it is that you're going to be, assisting Gaia, assisting your collective mind, that sacred trinity, because it's all interrelated, it's all connected, right? Thank you, Holy Spirit. So did we say everything we wanted to say about the soup? And just sensing and that alien contact. So the alien contact again, if you're sending out a more refined experience and excitement to be omnipresent active, that's how we can say I'm active and I'm excited. You're anticipating contact in your omnipresence. Everything is ready. Your chakra systems, your pillar of light is sending out these pulsations of anticipation. And that anticipation, if God or your teams or your guides say go for a walk, you're just going to say okay, and you're going to be anticipating that omnipresence energy that you're sending out, rippling out that more and more allness integration, the acceptance integration. You're going to receive exactly what you need based on exactly where you've been activated, right? How you've been activated, how you've been readied yourself, prepared yourself. As we've said earlier, being a conduit and having as much practice and preparation as I have, God knows that I want a diversity in energy. I want a diversity in species that are coming through. So that's why I do work with a very specific species on, thank you, Holy Spirit, the systems of light. And so they're doing a roll call right now. And the Galactic Federations and the Holy Star, thank you, Holy Spirit, and the Star Councils and the beings from Pluto. They're very, very sweet beings. And they're very soft and they're very gentle. They stay back, they only come forward when I call them. And they're very, very sweet and very gentle. So they're very acute because they're so far out, if you will. So they're finding it really fun to be a part of this ride with us. So I'm just giving you just channelings as they're tuning in. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So they're saying right now, any of you that want to channel the insectoids, they're giving an offer. Anybody wants to connect with the insectoids, and there's many of my clients that I've had that have interaction and connection with the antoids. Their vibration, again, the insectoids is a general blanket, right? It's just like being omnipresence. Omnipresence encapsulates everything. Insectoids encapsulates all insects, kind of thing, from different planets based on where we're at in our human ascension, what you're here to offer within the human ascension. Because I'm a conduit, diverse species translator, communicator, I like different species that are multiversal. So again, they are empowering me to be as uniquely diverse in my energy translations. So bringing them forward is really exciting for me because I get to tap in and refine my sensory systems, how I sense energy, how I feel energy, how I translate energy, how I communicate God's story, the omnipresent story for humanity at that time. And that's why, again, we go back to my work is only offered through me, because as a conduit, I can take any part of the biosphere and whatever is given in that moment or time based on who is before me and what is now needed for future now moments. The teams and the omnipresence will just fold out a story for me, and I can move. I can, hi Dupe, how you doing, sweetie? Haven't seen you in forever. Dupe is a beautiful, beautiful being. Very, very consciously awake. We're just talking about celestials and aliens, sweetie. Had some beautiful conversations with Dupe and had some very beautiful activations. A beautiful, beautiful star seed that is here to really do. You've done a lot for the younger collective, so I'm so very happy and I'm so very proud for you to be always a constant part of our videos. So thank you for always energy, allowing your energy to be with us, Dupe. We're just talking about the vibrations of your refinement as being omnipresence and just offering that refined, because again, as you're working on clearing out the densities and accepting yourself and reclaiming those soul fragments, and you're just becoming accepting of all that is before you, your all integration. As you're doing that, you're automatically refining your entire multidimensional systems, your chakras, your DNA, how you vibrate and send out those pulsations. And then the more you spend in nature, just knowing that nature is the alien celestial contact that you're maneuvering. you're connecting and you're communicating with nature when you go for a nature walk. When you swim in a lake, you know, the lake is right behind me, and there's nature walks all the way around the lake. And so when you go out for these walks and you go into nature, I know many of you, because I've talked with you too, Dupe, you've had very beautiful visions and downloads in nature, and you come back. Dupe is one of the ones that I talk to. He gets these really profound visions, and he connects with different species and different energies, and then he draws and he does that expression. That's his integration and processing of the energy, his processing of his alien energy, his processing of his celestial energy. He's claiming and accepting that that's in his DNA. He is a multidimensional being. He's done the 3 A's. I've accepted, I acknowledge, I allow it, and now I'm going to explore it, express it, and I'm going to experience it. That's how you become that ever-evolved omnipresent. The more that you work with our ascension tips and techniques, it's just a part of being omnipresent now. And you end up having that higher refined pulsation, which is what they were showing me, so that when I go out to walk, because I've just had that DNA allocation 68% upgrade, that allocation also had other upgrades, say 10% Arcturian in a different, that Arcturian could be at a different level because I'm at a higher vibration of that first phase of 5D integration. So that template of the 5D integration is different, because as I move up to that 5D integration, everybody is, it's our first phase, I also have to reach higher. So for that 5D to be just entering right now, I have to be working 6th and 7th and sometimes 8th. And again, when I'm working with the creators, they download what they can through the other aspects of me. Yeah, so Dupe, because you have, Dupe is also one that has a expansive a capacity to sense, right? So you have to be able to channel your sensing in a very creative way. So creativity, as we said in our other videos, is going to be really huge for the next coming years every day. You know, get out and write, do your journaling, do your drawings, and then express it however you can. Dupe's done a wonderful job by having blogcasts and radiocasts. So he's doing his multi-vibrational expression. He's constantly creating that minutia of renewing himself in the new omnipresent God self. He's navigating in minutia in who he is now as God. And so he's created that portal at a very young age. He's created that portal of expression. So that's how you evolve, right? You evolve through that constant exploration of who are you in this new omnipresence energy. When you have those DNA allocations, those activations of those codons, depending on those, because I'm just giving it to you as an example, and it's going to get more wild, trust me, because when we get into 5D, your DNA allocation, your DNA activation, I'm just giving it to you because we're in dense, moving into less dense. If you have a DNA activation on a species we don't even know, the ones that I am most happy and most excited about right now is my insectoids, because again, they're the most different. They're the most way out there wild. But they are showing me, obviously, yes, even I have, I mean, I'm always a student. There are so many species and so many beings that that are so weird to me. The insectoids are helping me walk into even a more diverse species. So this is why you have the teams and guides based on your soul blueprint. You have the teams and guides and beings that are with you, that are helping you as you become omnipresent, sending out unique and different diverse energies as you go into new environments, as you allow yourself to meet new friends, as you allow yourself to, instead of always going on a forest walk, going to the beach. Allow yourself those differences and diversities. You're going to be calling in and activating those pulsations that are also different. As I said in my video the other day, if I didn't do those sheets and downloads on my excitement to know about the brain, I wouldn't have processed those other downloads that was part of the processing. Like we gave you that example of Dupe and Angela. You guys do journaling, and you do what you're taking your visions. That's doing the work. You're writing out what your visions are looking like, the beings that you've come in contact with. What does that mean for you? What does it mean for you today? What does it mean for you tomorrow? That's doing the work. That's integrating and being omnipresent. That's working with spirit as spirit. That's your godliness. Just as the other day when I was doing those channeling sheets on the brain, I was doing a higher vibrational medical synopsis. We don't need it from medical text anymore. We're becoming 5D. So that 7th dimensional Pleiadian version of me that was doing my own brain surgery through light tools, I was getting that 5th dimensional download, and I was just writing it out. I was practicing and behaving and playing in being higher vibrational because those DNAs were activated. I thought, okay, well, let's learn about the brain today. And I did a few searches on the video And I just started writing out brain. I started writing out and asked my guides, and then I wrote it down. And then I started thinking about, okay, well, if this is what the brain means to me right now, and I've never taken, I took a couple classes in biology, you know, I think I took biochem, and I found it really exciting and really, I was starting to get the hang of it, and then I dropped it because I was too insecure. I found it really, really cool, biochem. And then anthropological biology, that was really cool. That was one of my favorite classes, anthropological biology. But I've obviously never taken brain classes, right? But you have to actually do the practicing. You have to draw it out. You have to write it out. You have to, whatever your process of creativity is. You might dance, right? You might, for many of us, we're going to be exploring, and I really implore and empower you to really get excited about variations of light language and dance and movement, because again, it's all mudras, and we play and we work within the field. That's a big part of how I heal. That's a big part of how I work with God and the 12th dimensional creators and the Arcturians in feeding new energies to the fields. They're so, again, it's so complex. I wish that I could, I mean, I know it's going in the field, but sometimes I feel like I don't do the channeling justice, because there's so much more than what I'm just saying in words. But there's a lot going into the field, so just know that. I don't feel like I do spirit justice sometimes, because it's so profound. Anything that I talk about on a soul blueprint, like what I just said, when you have a creative, like just when we talk about mudras, that's why Spirit's been telling me for the last couple of years, I really have to really consider how profound I am. And I'm saying that from I'm so very humble, because I don't see what they see, right? They see it from the 12th dimension. God sees it from God's perspective, right? And God's constantly telling me, Joanna, really, your gifts are not like everybody's gifts. And I have to say, well, I don't know anybody else's gifts, right? I'm just who I am. I know that I got ostracized a lot. I know that I got bullied a lot, obviously. People trying to take me out with black magic and voodoo. People trying to swap my destinies. I don't look at it like that. I just look at it as that little girl, that little fairy that wants to just play with all life. I love life. I love insects. I love bugs. I love everybody. I love everything. When people walk by on the street, I send them, hey, I love you. That's just me. I do that. That's how I am. It was very, very challenging for me to be here when in those denser vibrations. God and my teams had to pull me out. It was very, very, very difficult. And I don't know how I did it some days. I wouldn't ask anybody to do what I went through. It's part of that healing too, right? That is part of that healing. But I do have to take more appreciation on my gifts, and I have to, but I don't compare myself. I've never compared myself, because I don't know what other people feel. I always thought that what I was going through was normal. It's just as every psychic does, just as all the children do nowadays. I love you, Dupe. You're a beautiful, beautiful being. I would love, Dupe, if you want to. I would love for you and I to do a video together. And because I would love to just talk about celestial and alien and just see whatever comes up, right? We'll do a portal, and then we'll open whatever comes up. Yeah, you're beautiful. You're a profound being, and you're meant to be here, and you're meant to anchor so many beautiful things. And you already do. So don't ever question that, my love. You've got beautiful, beautiful energy, beautiful, beautiful energy. And we can just do an open channel and just see what happens. We'll just, whatever beings come, right? And we'll just talk, and we'll just explore, and we'll expand. Because you do have a lot to offer for the youth connection and the youth collective. So please keep doing what you're doing. Keep moving on what you're moving on. Stay aligned with who you are, and make sure you're clearing out your fields a lot. Clearing out your field is going to be so, so important, because as you're clearing your field, you're going to allow for that refinement of sensing, which is really important. The Arcturians and the insectoids have really taught me a lot about maintaining my field. And it's like brushing your teeth every day. You do it at night, you do it in the morning, just clearing out your field, refining your sensing. I always ask my teams too, if I'm out in nature, I'll go park at the beach, or I'll park at the lake, and I'll just sit and look at nature, and I'll ask for different vibrations, and I'll just channel them. So practice being higher vibrationally and trained. When you're working with your teams and you're talking about, the stuff that I show you on my videos, I always say, what did I just activate? And they'll say, oh, you know, we've done an insectoid activation on you. Right? And so, I'm doing these weekly videos for all of you to show you that you can be higher vibrationally engaged and entangled with your teams, with any celestials. As again, I said, as your omnipresent more refines, if you're becoming more refined in your field of omnipresence, you're going to send out those refined impressions, those refined pulsations. They're going to be sent back to you. So that's why God showed me that God knows you're the omnipresence, God's the omnipresence. God knows when you just sit and allow, when you sit and let go, God allows you to just take in what God will bless you with, as I talked about in my last video about that walk. I was focused on my tummy being hungry, but as I went for my walk, I was being nourished multidimensionally. So that's where you're going to be nourished in different ways. So open up to that. That's being omnipresent. God wants you to be nourished by the angelics. God wants you to be nourished by Gaia's biosphere. Gaia is so rich in biosphere. I taught a class for many, many years on biosphere communication. So if anybody wants to take that biosphere communication, you're really connected with nature, you want to connect with the cetaceans, I do a biosphere communication class. So just send me an email and let me know. And then when I put that class on, I'll send you an email. And my classes are $33 US. And so those are different ways that you can enhance, again, your DNA allocation, because you have to practice, right? Because when you as I said the other day, I gave you that example of me writing about the brain. That was a process. I was processing downloads. That because a lot of my gifts are orating, and a lot of my gifts are through my hands. As I write, I'm a writer. I've had many timelines of being a writer. I was a scribe way back in ancient times. I've written on stone, right? I was a scribe. That's why you're prepared for whatever role you're doing now, and why it's so ridiculous. Anybody can think they can destiny swap. No, I've had timelines where I was a scribe. I've had timelines where I was an orator. I have timelines where I was a magician. I have timelines where I was a black magician. I had timelines in all of these experiences. No, because now I get to step in that power. I've earned it. And who is anybody to say that anybody can destiny? It's ridiculous. Your soul blueprint is so complex. In any one area, if you just talk about the body in and of itself, your blueprint is designed for your body, and your body is designed for your blueprint. They told me a long time ago when I first awoke, one of my very first channeling sessions, way long ago, I chose this body. I chose this body for this lifetime. So everything is considered, everything. Your parents are considered, where you're born is considered, everybody you connect with, a person you meet in the street, all of those things are a part of your soul blueprint. Yeah, and just make sure though, when you're doing mirror work, just make sure you're being very attuned with your field, closing energies off. So you got to make sure when you're doing mirror work, do mirror work with a high level of responsibility, right? So you only do mirror work with your guide's instruction, right? Just like doing, thank you, Spirit, just like doing timeline jumping. Again, there's so much misinformation and knowledge. When you're doing exploring timelines or ethereal travel or astral travel, always go in alignment with your higher self and your guide, and just say, I'm just interested about astral travel, and then wait for a download. You have to be grounded. You have to clear your field, cut any cords, just be clearing and cleansing first, be in a happy and good mood, have no intentions, but just to play. If you're doing it with intentions to mess with anybody, again, those universal laws, I'm so sick of talking about it, but people have to understand, because there's so many people that are just doing chaos magic and chaos bullshit and chaos mirror work and chaos. It's just a mess. It's a big energetic mess. And I just feel, again, I feel bad for the ancestors and all the beings that are here to clear out that mess, because I feel it. It's a mess. People doing magic and they don't know what they're doing is a mess. You don't need to do magic. When you understand universal laws, when you understand what you're creating, when you understand your divine soul blueprint, how profound you are, when you understand that just that refinement of working on your own inner issues and working, clearing and integrating and doing all of that, you're going to get exactly what you need. You'll always be fed. But people aren't understanding that because they're so in need of that outer feeding. That's the difference in the shift. The collective is going to shift from, I was so superficially focused because you were taught and told that's what you needed to belong, to have things, to be successful, to be loved, to be accepted. No, we've been taught wrong right from the get-go. From as early as children should walk and speak, they should be taught about their chakras. They should be returning their light and their love within. They should be taught how to work with their life force right from the get-go. And they should be learning the highest vibrational cosmic information right at the ages of 5 and 6. Don't wait till you're 30 to learn about your omnipresence. These children are so high capacity, and they're being taught things they don't need to learn. They just don't. You know, but I mean, we're getting there. That's just me. My pulpit. It's backwards. It's really backwards. When you wake up and you have those awakenings and we see what's been going on in the collective, that's why many of the people that read my social posts and they watch my videos, it's like they're still closed off to it. They're still numb and done to it. They're so conformed to seeing everything. Well, that's just the way it is. And it's not the way it is. You have no idea how much control and agendas have been going on that you've been giving your power to, that you've been giving your energy to. Those in your family that have been fucking you over, that have been stealing your life force and belonging to Mason groups that have been stealing your money. You have no idea. This isn't obvious, of course, of anybody, but if you're going to be a teacher, a healer, a leader, most often than not, you're going to have somebody in your family, in your direct family, that's been fucking you over. That's the soul contract to work through that karma. To a certain degree, they're not meant to do it over and over and over when you've said no and you've reclaimed your power and you've done everything right. You've taken all the right steps, as my story showed. I showed everybody over the years how to work with different aspects of darkness and different aspects of demon entity attachments. I've shown the collective what occurs when you do the malevolent with energy, when you abuse power, when you abuse energy, when you abuse spell work. I've shown everybody blatantly what occurs, how it affects the multidimensional systems, how it actually affects the brain functioning, how it affects the innocent children in the room that you've said that you've cared for and you said that you care about them, but then again you go and do, you know, spell hits and assassin hits on their mother. Well, then that's a total lie. How can you say that you care for your children when you're putting spell work hits on your mother, on the mother of the children? So again, when those veils come off, there'll be absolute blatant knowledge that you've been fed a whole bunch of lies and you've got to process that. I'm ahead of the group. I've always been 6 months to a year ahead of the collective because I'm here to train and teach and help people through the shifts, right? I'm here to help people through those aspects that you thought you were told something and it's totally the opposite way. No, celestials aren't going to come down and take over our brains. No, they've been doing that here on Earth. Your very family members that said you shouldn't believe in being a spiritualist or you shouldn't believe in, you know, working with celestials or, you know, channeling celestials when they're in the back room doing Masonic rituals and sacrificing you. What the fuck? It's going to wake you up and you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to create Earth over here. You guys keep doing what you're doing, but that's meant to because your activation of your light is exactly as God showed me. I was placed here for those 50 people that were involved in the fuckery that went on with me. Those people were given an opportunity for their soul's course to be altered through their activation with me. Their interactions with me was their soul's test to see, did they want to continue perhaps shifting to a oneness factor, or were they going to continue the black arts? Because they come from a lot of dark timelines, from different universes and different galaxies and different planets. And they're just playing it out in a human form. Because again, I'm a multiverse being. Yeah, you can watch my videos, dupe. It's been, I mean, right now as it sits, Spirit and the heavens are doing everything they can to move everybody out of the way. And I'm meant to be in my destiny. I'm already meant to have been living my best life. I'm already to have been meant living in abundance. And that's not been the case because there's been so many people fucking with me. They think it's funny. They want to control me. They want to control where I go and how I go. And if they siphon off and if they veil and if they block off my resources, Divine Feminine can't do anything. They're games that the Divine Masculine Collective, which I've learned a lot because I've done a lot of sharing with regards to the Adam Eve project that I was the only one that was told about way back when by the Pleiadians. about the Adam Eve project was one of the projects that every single human has been imprinted with, for every human to go through their ascension evolutionary journey to sort out what that Adam Eve project is, and how we have given so much power, misinformation, misguidance to our own divine feminine masculine energies, who we are, where we come from, what exists within us. And we've created very disrespectful, disregarding, erasing stories of the divine feminine. Why? How? And because I'm a divine feminine, because I'm a diverse species, because I'm a diverse ultra human, if you will, I've had to go through the worst. And I know that. I'm not happy about it. Spirit shows me, I've done so much for the collective. I've done so much for my lineage. And I said, okay, but what the fuck? Like, you can say all those things and thanks, but what the fuck? I'm still processing. I still have to integrate the fuckery. The blatant fuckery of those people that don't give a shit. They don't. They're conformed to not giving a shit. And when they have group debauchery, underground experiences, and group sex, and poly, and polygamy, and all that crap, they're mixing their energies, and they're so confused. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. They don't know who they are. They have no idea about the Ascension process. But that's why I was so valuable placed in front of them. And most of them just got caught up in, again, the addictions and the obsessions. Again, the 7 sins. They're called 7 sins, but they're really not. They're just the psyche wounds. That's all that is. The guilt and the envy and the jealousy and the gluttony and the greed. That's the devil's playground, because that's how you're controlled. That's how you're monopolized. That's how your life force is taken. And I'm an advocate for the crystalline. I'm an advocate for all children. I'm an advocate for all women. I'm an advocate for Gaia. I'm an advocate for all that is pure God's light, because I'm here to set new 5D templates. So to do that, I'm going to the darkest places and I'm breaking it up as the crystalline energy that I am. Well, I wouldn't say walked, dupe. I'd say I kind of crawled. As I said, my Syrian came into the pharmacy when I was passed out. It's like, fuck. I have so many life lessons. If there'd be a movie about my life, it'd be like, what the fuck? Luckily, I mean, I wouldn't be here without my celestials. They're the only ones that love me in the way that celestials, I mean, if you felt the unconditional love of a celestial, you're changed in a second. When you are in the presence and your energies of, like for me, the energies of my insectoids, it's such a beautiful, and the sisters from the Pleiades and Mother Mary, it's such an unconditional, soft love. Everything else just kind of disappears. That's how love is. We don't have that here on Earth. I hope to be a role model of that. That's what my intention is. There are very few. If you ask anybody in your family and have these conversations with your children, get used to these higher vibrational conversations, because we're rewriting it now. God is inspiring each and every one of you to write the new energies now, to write the new Bibles, if you will. They're not going to be called Bibles because it comes with so many, triggers. These experiences of, do you know 5 women, really great role models? What did they show you about divine feminine, divine masculine interplay of balance? Start working with this. These are high vibrational becomings. We will be androgynous when we're 5D. We don't have anything to go on. There's nothing there. Isis was a goddess and Kali was a goddess, but there's been nothing in our modern history about any divine feminine with exception of 2 or 3. And I guarantee you, if you ask 100 children, I guarantee you that 98 of them would not know any of those 1 or 2 women. I guarantee you. That's sad. That's how come the reality is so broken. Our social realm is so broken. Why? Because divine feminine being completely erased and the distorted masculine is absolutely showing in every way, in every fiber of our being. They absolutely need to be healed. They need to sit down. It's a mess. And this is where I have to really pull myself back, because it's like, I don't understand how we can have been so conformed to such degradation. It blows my mind how we could have got so skewed on so much. And we've allowed it. When those veils come off, many people are going to be talking just like me. How the fuck did we not see this? That's awakening. You can't go back to how you used to be. You can't. And you're going to start acting, okay, how can we fix this? Yeah, it's a mess. Divine masculines, the elites. Oh, elites, you need a lot of healing. You need to go and you need to have healing. The elite males of our planet. Because you're in those roles for a reason. You've been given those roles for a reason. You've manifested those roles for a reason. There's a lot of messed up junk that needs to be fixed and healed. Who's going to fix this? More 3D elites? No, they're not aligned. They have no connection with their higher self at all. Because if they did, they wouldn't be going involved in programs of the arms race and blowing away 20 and 30,000 people because they want to tout war, tout war, tout war. If you're a leader, you wouldn't be touting war. Sacred land and sacred people. Who's talking about that? Who's talking about healing, getting connected so that we can align with higher vibrational integration of our fifth dimensional consciousness? With our federations, are we aligning with universal laws? So much can be healed and cleared out by aligning with universal laws, by aligning with the heavens, which is what we've taught from day one, which is why they've suppressed me. I've had to prove myself 1,000-fold above and beyond any lazy male that sits before me and thinks that they are better than me. Because that's their misogyny, that's their dogma, that's their social entrainment. And now it's getting so blatant that I have to say things like that for it to be so blatantly obvious at the mess that is out there, due to the distortion of the divine masculine not choosing to get healed. And instead of divine masculine not choosing to face their divine feminine energies and to face their divine feminine exploration and their exploration of who they are as a soul, an entire underworld was created. And who finances that underworld? Ask everybody this that is awakened. Who finances the underworld? Who finances it? How many leaders in the world today, out of every country, how many of the leaders are divine feminine? All across the galaxy, it's silent. Divine feminine has been erased, and that has been in a program agenda. The program agenda was to silence the divine feminine energy, whether you're in a male body or a female body. Why? Because it's directly related to your intuitive knowing of who you are as a divine sacred being. Why? Because they don't want you to know how powerful you are as a creator of the omnipresence, the Christ consciousness. Why? Because they benefit from you being numb and dumb. And now that the world is in such imbalance, the brink of our species is in play, pivoting back and forth of destruction and World War III, that these idiots think that they're going to be a player on. And as Ashtar said, there will be no World War III. There will be a shifting out. And these barbaric leaders will know exactly the choices that they made and how very grave they have been to the human collective. That's right from Commander Ashtar. So we can be at peace with that. We can be at peace because that's what they want us. When you see these things in the collective social realm come up about the war in the Middle East, there's agendas there, and it's not what you think. It's a power play, dear lighted ones. And that's why those beings that understand that, they come and watch my channel, because they want to see how much I really know about secret meetings. And so God gives me specific things that I can see and I can say, so that those that do watch my video, and they do have me shadow banned or on a watch list because I know more than they think I know, there will be no World War III. And as I said in my other videos, they will self-implode themselves out of another experience into another reality, because God will not allow the divine plan for humanity, the divine plan for Gaia, for God's sakes, in this galaxy, Gaia is very important. And no 3D, arrogant, misogynistic ass of a man that doesn't give a crap about humanity, that doesn't give a crap about their higher selves, that doesn't give a crap about the children that are dying, doesn't give a crap about the tens of thousands of people that are displaced in the Middle East because their homes got blew up by a bomb and by drones. They don't care. Because if they did care, thank you, God, if they did care, they wouldn't have sent children into war. They wouldn't send women into war. They wouldn't send the targeting of a divine feminine master that got shut down and compressed and depressed and suppressed for years, and her channel shadow banned for years because they didn't want my teachings to reach the collective, because I could heal many. I could awaken many. I could activate many. I can say, yes, you're worthy. Yes, you have your power. Yes, you claim your power. Yes, you reclaim your life force. Yes, you know what you're doing. Yes, you can choose for yourself. Yes, you have higher vibrational intelligence. Stop waiting for people to make your choices, make your own. There's agendas, but now it's done. It's over. God said enough. Enough is enough. Things are being changed. I do have a destiny. I will stand up and speak, and I will walk around this world, and I will speak, and I will give, and I will activate. Just as the Holy Christ did. This time there will be no crucifixion. That's God's promise. Test God all you want. You're going to come up with the same self-implosion, just like everybody right now is seeing, facing, and tasting their karma from the 8 years of hell that they put me through, and the other timelines and the other lifetimes throughout my whole entire life that I've been done voodoo and spell work on. Because you are trying to root me into my destiny swap that you think you can handle being me for an hour. Those people that did spell work and voodoo and root work and putting me in jars and all the bullshit that was done, the Masons thinking they can control me, the Masons thinking they can maneuver my human testing and making me do this and making me do that, and the bullshit that they did to me it's unconscionable. What was done and what was tried in the human testing on me. Trying to make me be a weapon. Trying to make me be something I'm not and take the God out of me. They're trying to rip the God essence out of me. What was done was disgusting and deplorable. Disgusting and deplorable. To have people even think that they can conceive such bullshit. It's beyond all notions. Control freaks at the highest level. Money's going back and forth to see how they can put another human test on me and have people focus on me to be a weapon. Have people focus on me to be this. Do mind control and mind scraping and all the bullshit that was done. When that comes out, every single one of those people, every single one of them, every single person will be pulled up in court, and I'm going to put human discrimination lawsuits on everybody. And all that money's going to go back to the children that have been abused in the underground. So bring it. Bring it, oh human testers. God's got your number. Bring your highest paying lawyers, because those higher paying lawyers are a part of those underground programs, and God wants you to pull the highest level of people. God wants you to pull the highest names. That's why they watch my videos, because they know that we're on to them. So keep going. Put me on whatever list you want, because you know what? As you're watching me, God's got 100 billion watching you. So pull out whatever program you want, an agenda of bullshit human testing you want. You're being seen. And you'll self-implode yourself right into an experience of a tower moment or ill health or whatever it is that you choose to manifest with God, because you've chosen to disregard one tiny little divine feminine that picks up and moves wormies to the soil. You've chosen to target her as some sort of a weapon because I know things and because I'm an ultra human. Well, if I would have done that, I probably would have done that a long time ago when I got raped. When you did your little orgy rapes in the little sacrificial ritual room, and you put on your little robes, and you did your little life force vibrational experience, and you pretended that I was there. I vibrationally feel everything. It was disgusting. And that's why most of those people are having STDs, because that's their manifestation. When you choose to go against one that God said this is her destiny, when you choose that as a soul choice, absolutely bet, and God is showing each and every person, my ancestors are showing everybody. You choose your karma the moment that you step on board and put a spell on me. Everybody's feeling it. I don't need to prove anything. God will do it for me. I have my right to be who I am. Who says I didn't? What person in their arrogance and in their attitudes of stupidity think that they can tell anybody who they can and cannot be? For women to have a race for 3,000 plus years, who is it of anybody to step in a room and say that I don't belong here, when I'm the only person on this planet that's bringing the level of light and information and wisdoms that I am? And how dare I ask everybody that was involved in that situation, the 50 plus people that were involved in suppressing me and taking me offline and availing my channels, everything that was involved, 50 plus people that were involved in the money's passing back and forth to put assassination hits on me, to do everything that was done on me. What if, dear lighted ones, and I turn this around to you, not my clients, of course, these are the ones that are snaking and shaking and thinking that they're going to get away with premeditated murder. And harming people with black magic and harming people with sacrifices and all the bullshit that's done when they don't understand universal law, they don't understand creational reality, and they're messing with magic and they don't need to. They wanted my destiny. They wanted my gifts. They wanted my energy. They wanted my life source. They wanted my God source. They didn't know about passion. Okay, well, you can teach your own passion. You can get your own passion. You can work with your own life force. I taught everybody that. 50 plus people, they all knew that they could work with God, and I showed everybody. 600 some odd videos, hundreds and hundreds of posts, 2 years of warnings, 2 years of telling, 2 years of saying alter course, 2 years of showing you how to work with your life force, 2 years of telling everybody day in and day out, like hitting your head on a brick wall. But they just wanted to take and steal and thieve. Because there was so much entity attachment. There was so much wounding. They weren't working through their inner child wounding. They weren't working through their Akashic wounding. They just wanted to take and have and get and take and have and get. They were so caught up in the envy. They were so caught up in the jealousy, so caught up in their woundings, and I forgive everybody. But I tell you this, those ones that are watching that think they're higher than God, they think they're holier than thou, those that are thinking that they can do magic and write the plan that God is, and you're telling somebody who they can be and who they can't be. You're telling a divine feminine that she can come forward and not speak wisdom. You're telling divine feminine she's not meant to be in that arena of play. You're telling divine feminine, no, this is only a man's world and blah, 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 bullshit. What is the world going to look like with just men on it? Pretty much what it looks like right now, sick and damaged and people trying to hurt each other. There's no healing on the planet whatsoever other than the ones we offer, the light workers offer, the ones that you're trying to suppress offer. And what would you tell those ones, dear lighted ones, the ones that have taken and stolen from me and raped from me and vibrationally taken from me, metaphysically taken from me, trying to time swap, look into my birth charts and do the fuck shit that has been done on me has been ridiculous and sickening. All dimensions, all realms, all universes. And I get it. It's who I am. And I've come with a thick skin and I'm taking it because there's been absolutely zero divine feminine energies on our planet. And I'm starting it right now. I'm the first one because there's nobody that's aligned, nobody that's healed, that's doing divine feminine work besides the few lighted divine light workers that are out there doing it at a social level that I am. I'm doing this at a social grid collective level. All collectives, that's what I'm working with. I'm working with the highest potential of our collective. And what would you have told the children, those people that have been working on my path? Would you have blamed the divine feminine if she was to have been taken out? You would have all celebrated, wouldn't you? You would have had your big robe ritual and you would have had your big party. You'd have all gathered and you would have had lots of drinks and you would have partied on the money you all made from the pyramid betting and the scamming and the bets that were made and the monies that were traded back and forth to see who could get me. That's what goes on in these sacrifice experiences. Just like the taking of Tupac, just like the taking of Lady Di, Elvis, different star seeds, different programs, different agendas. That's what the sacrificing does. Robin Williams. So many people have these sacrificing bullshit. Sacrificing bullshit, it's bullshit. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand creational reality. And there's monies going back and forth. And what would you have said? I want to talk to those men that think they're the 5% elite. And those people that are involved in these sacrifices, and there's women too. Because you're just not healed. You have no idea who you are. You're not aligned with your higher self. No higher self would ever tell you anything. Your higher self would never even want you to walk in a door where conversations of sacrificing take place. Your higher self would say, get the hell out. That's your ticket to Devilland. Your higher self, you're not connected. You're not connected with higher self at all. All you care about is the money and what you think you're going to look like. You think you're going to look like that. You're causing self-implosion. Again, you don't know you're disconnected. You're totally disconnected with everything. That's the purpose of me coming forward to teach these things, because people are disconnected. All they care about is money. and false-ass titles, which mean nothing in the spiritual realm. That's why my ranking is so much higher. That's why I'm still here today. That's why I will be speaking along the world. That's why I will activate many. That's why I will heal those children that were sacrificed and their light was taken. And those underground debauchery experiences, I'm going to be a part of healing those children, because the people that are in the elite positions, the people that are financing those, they have done a great, great, great damage to the human collective. And I'm calling every one of them out. And what would you have said, those 50 plus people that were involved in my life path over the last 8, 15, 50 years? I'm asking each and every one of you, what would you have told the children if I was taken out? I want to know the answer to that, because this will be asked in the court of law when you are all charged. What would you say? I want those 50 people to answer themselves these questions, because it will be asked in a court of law. If I was taken out through your intentions, which is the basis and the foundation of all magic, of all voodoo, of all chanting and all sacrifice, it's all about intention. So you can't take that off as an excuse. Too late. It's already out there in the video. Premeditation is intention. Magic is about intention. That's all it is. Occult crime. Look it up in your law books. What would you have said to the children, dear lighted ones? If I was taken out, if God did allow that, what would they have said to the children? They didn't plan themselves that far. They were too busy partying on their early celebrations for me not being here. They didn't even think, they don't care. They don't care the ramifications of the only mother born of light, that these crystalline children had to access light and the codes to access light. What they would have done, Spirit showed me, they probably would have blamed it on me. And I cried. That's how hateful these people are. Not only did I get victimized for as many years as I did, and I had to process that level of hate and the targeting and the spell work, and I had to bring my body back up every day, and I worked with my teams, recalibrate. But I had to process that these people aren't even taking zero accountability. I have no idea the damage they caused me. PTSD, being isolated from my children for years, false claims, defamation, falsification of signatures, of documents, of stories. It's a mess. The diabolical, false, disgusting, degrading, discriminatory mess. And there was officials and people of every title involved. And they would have blamed it on me. Your mother committed suicide. It was all her fault. Children were so sorry. And the children have to walk around with that imprint for the rest of their lives. Somebody told me something, and I want you to think about this. It's very important about how you affect the souls of everybody around you. Somebody told me something at a very pivotal point of my life. And there you'll have these little touch points where you remember them forever and you're forever changed as a soul. And it's exactly the same as a child gets touched or raped. And it's the same importance as an empath or a psychic or a crystal or a healer or a conduit gets vibrationally raped, gets spell casted, gets voodooed. Anything is the same to a vibrational being. It's the same. What they think is get done behind secret doors, it isn't. I feel everything. I see it. Somebody said something to me one day when I was in this beautiful experience of processing loss. Somebody said something very off the cuff. They didn't think about what they said. Disconnected. Total disconnection. Didn't mean anything to them until after they said it and they saw how much it affected me. It broke my heart. It was a blatant statement about something that I knew in my heart, I have to carry that statement for the rest of my life. That statement's never going to go away. The only person that can transmute that statement is that person that said it. And they didn't make it right. They quickly said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. They did. They said it. It affected my soul, and I carry it with me today. I can detach on how much it affects me, but that statement affects me. It's the statement. Think about how that feels, being an empath and a conduit and a healer, that I can heal universes. I can heal dementia. I can go heal a planet in the Syria. I can send healing light to the Pleiades. I can send healing light to the Middle East. How does that feel for a conduit that sits and she's going to bed one night and all of a sudden she feels a vibrational rape occur? Because they're focusing on her energy. They want her life force. They want to take her life force. How does that feel for a divine feminine that's been erased in our collective for 3,000 years, that's been ignored, that has to work 1,000 times harder than a man to be heard and to be seen and to be recognized, to write 3 books on Ascension and not even be credited for anything, to have her work copied and mimicked and doppelganged and content taken, videos pilfered? Nobody gives a shit. How do you think that how do you think that conduit and empath feels to be vibrationally raped? As there's 3 or 4 or 5 guys that are getting around and they're doing their vibrational chanting rituals, and I have to sense and I have to energetically feel their dicks that I didn't ask for and there was no permission. Because they're focusing on my consciousness and they want to take my life force. And they got away with this for years. And these are people of official positions that have not healed their divine feminine energies. They haven't healed their childhood wounds. They haven't done an ounce of healing. And they were the ones that were going to somehow go and tell my children, if they did succeed in the assassination and taking me out, what would they have told my children? What would they have told my children? They would have blamed it on me. What does that tell you about the collective energy of where we are at right now? At the level of disrespect and disgust and hate and distortions and erasing that we have done with divine feminine, and the utter disconnection of all that is love and divine sacredness. There is zero energy of goddesshood on our planet. And there's a reason why. That makes me so sad. And at the very same time, it empowers me to be that goddess. And that's a part of God's plan. The children need goddesshood energy. The planet needs, the rivers will dry up and there will be no oceans if divine feminine and the spitting on what God has blessed, if the divine feminine is spit on and degraded, the rivers will dry up and there will be no water. And it's being seen on the planet right now. The Nile River. Divine energy is crucial for the healing of our species, for the evolution of our species. Every single person walking on this planet has divine feminine energies. The state of our planet and the imbalance and the wars and the degrading political genres and agendas and underground, everything is in direct correlation of the lack of healing, the lack of connection, the lack of relationship that the divine masculine collective has placed themselves in, and the divine feminine collective has allowed. There is a deep healing that is needed. And my one story that touches on every aspect of our social, dogmatic, financial explorations is an exact example of, and my story will be written about. And divine feminine will be voiced and we will be heard. We will be back on the creational story, as it always should have been intended. We are equally important. We are equally valuable. We are equally intelligent. We are equal great leaders. We are needed here on this planet to fix what's going on. And there will be many divine feminines stepping up as role models and great leaders to pull us out of this mess. The divine masculine collective truly, truly needs to go within and heal. They need to face their divine feminine energies. They need to face their inner child woundings. And the divine feminines need to go in and heal how we allowed such to occur. And bring back the higher vibrational consciousness of connection and meaning for our families and for our homes. We're given a very pivotal point, and my story was a huge story, and it will be shared to everyone. My story is a pinprick of the stories of every divine feminine that walks about in our career world today. Any career, any genre that you go into, and it's even more if you're an Aboriginal, it's even more if you're Native, it's even more if you're an elder, it's even more if you're of a minority. Why are there even minorities? Why can't we just be all? Well, that would just really skew things. We're so used to seeing the top 5% elite. You're not the leaders anymore. You can't be. The last will be first and the first will be last. No more. God's flipped it. Watch the sheets come out. Watch the sheaths come out. Watch the flimsies come out. Watch all these lower vibrational programs. Everybody's being pulled out. One by one, by one, by one. I'm calling, and I've been calling it for 6 months. It's a mess. It has to be fixed. Every false and nefarious leader will be called out, and they will by themselves create their own self-implosion. Everybody has to go away, and they have to think, and they have to ponder, and they have to go within, and they have to reflect. Divine feminine energies, divine masculine energies, where do you sit? Start integrating the divine feminine back into your life as important and valuable, because she is. Why would she never have been? I'm a divine feminine, and I've had many careers and many jobs and many roles. There's blatant discrimination in any role and place you walk in as a divine feminine, working as the experience of a divine feminine in the workplace. The fair pay equity is automatically far, 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 far less. And then again, if you're talking about a native or an aboriginal. How many of the world leaders are divine feminine? How many of the divine feminines in your world right now, in your reality, that you can say 5 off the top of your head, boom, 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 a balanced, aligned divine feminine that you can look up to as a role model, that is highly aligned, that is highly tapped in, that is highly tuned on, that is a divine feminine, that can make a difference in this world and does make a difference in this world. Whether a divine feminine is or not, every divine feminine makes a difference in this world. Every child makes a difference. Every elder makes a difference. Do you see what I'm saying? We are omnipresent. Nobody shall be discriminated. Why have we been so normalized for it to be so ugly? No wonder divine feminine get angry. Wouldn't you? There is no divine masculine that would have survived being me for a day. They wouldn't have. That's why they targeted me. They wanted my divine feminine energy because they weren't willing to face their own divine feminine woundings. They were suppressed. A lot of them had gender issues. A lot of them were bisexual, trisexual. They didn't know what they were, because they haven't faced their issues. They haven't faced their inner woundings. That's not I'm just calling out what's there. I'm just calling out what's going on. I'm just calling out what's in your field. Why are you targeting me? Because I'm telling you what's going on? Perhaps you go within and you actually start healing it. You actually start facing your gender confusion experiences and your explorations. Stop trying to hide it. Stop trying to label it and define it and suppress it and put it in an underground secret world. Explore it. Look up any one of the Seth videos about the soul exploration, and Seth channels high vibrational information that will change our world about the psychology of the exploration of who we are as beings and understanding our ideas of being attracted to the same sex and have it not be discriminated against. And it's created a whole underworld genre of debauchery and mess and diseases because it's been so suppressed and it's been ugly to look at. Why? And then when a divine feminine comes out and calls it and puts it on the table and says, these are the issues, I get targeted. No, I'm just saying these are the issues. You want to talk about it or keep hiding it? You want to keep pretending it's not there? No, the elite leadership right now has turned our planet into an absolute and utter mess. Who's going to fix it? Donald Trumps of the world? More misaligned people that are very rich but have no idea what a chakra is? Don't care? We have to look at it this blatantly. And sometimes that triggers people when they're not healed. No, I'm actually saying what's there. Why is that triggering you? It's there. Look at it. But everybody's so used to having things in the underground. No, it's more comfortable in the underground because we don't have to face it. You're going to face it. The light is going to keep bathing. The light's going to keep bathing. You're going to keep getting up and it will still stare in you in the face. It's there. I'm just saying what's there. This is my earthly human experience about being a divine feminine, highly crystallized, highly sensualized, highly Christic, empathic, conduit, empath, telepath, healer, teacher, wisdom teacher. I'm a leader. I'm a teacher. I'm many things. This is my one experience. Very few people would have survived what I did. How is that okay? And we're on the path to being highly intelligent, divine, connected beings. How is that okay? And this is why I'm such a voice. There are billions of women that don't have what I had. And I find myself so very grateful, even though I'm homeless. I'm so grateful because I know absolutely how many women have died with no voices being heard. I know how many women cry at night because they're being abused and they're being monopolized and their finances are being controlled by men that choose not to heal and see them as an object and a token. I've seen videos where men beat on their women in front of their children to maintain their so-called dominance. Really? How does that make you feel, big man? That you have imprinted your children with beating the crap out of your wife because she might have looked at another man while you're getting your dick sucked on by other women. How's that okay? How's that being all righteous and noble? I don't give a fuck what your religious beliefs are. There is no religion that says it's okay to beat or stone your wife. We're changing reality right now. Grow up, divine masculine. You need to be healed. If you beat on a woman, that's not okay. Raping women is not okay. Raping children is not okay. And that goes for divine feminine that manipulate and do romance schemes and try and get a guy by getting pregnant and taking all their money. How's that okay? I'm calling the ignorance out because it needs to be talked about. That's gross negligence on everybody's part. What part are you going to be accountable for? Who would have told my children? Who would have told the children that I'm going to heal down the road? Who would have told the children that I've already healed? Who would have told the people that I've already healed? What is that story going to be? Oh, it was her fault. She took herself out. We're so sorry about that. And they're going to turn around and go party with the monies and with the content, with the businesses that I've created. They have no idea. They have no content. They have no idea how to be aligned. And who are they to get my money? Who are they to get an ounce and a penny of what should be going to the children, what should be going to the creative collective? The ignorance and the arrogance is mind-boggling. Just mind-boggling. That's how disconnected. Mind-boggling. And I have to say it in such blatant, obvious ways to wake people up. When that film, when that sheath gets coated and you wake up the next morning and you are different, you're going to see how much you have been fooled, how much you have been lied to, how much you have been given fear programs to. And then people say silly, stupid little things like, we better worry about the celestials and the aliens coming to control. No, you worry about the brother in the next room. That's the awakening, people. The celestials have done everything to ensure that we don't go into a World War III. They've turned off those little buttons because they love humanity and we have to see our ways through this mess. There will be no World War III. The barbaric agendas are done and they have been told. They are not the leaders. It's been proven. Every day you wake up, they're showing you that they're not leaders. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to get aligned and are you going to do something? That is the idea here, Spirit, of children, of women, of men, of whoever is before me. This is our spiritual awakening. You are spiritual 100%. Who are you? What will you do with your collective creative? What will you do? What part will you play? Because I pray and I hope in all ways, and I know that some of you have had these experiences. You have had experiences, each and every one of you, because it's our biggest human imprint of discrimination. The Adam Eve Project is about discrimination. The crucifixion of Jesus was about discrimination, of breaking the conformities of what we thought we were told about ideologies of religion and dogma and all that kind of crap. They're all just words where we can put people in and label people in and package people in. No, we are a one species of divine beingness. We are omnipresent. We have infinite joy and infinite information and infinite alien celestial cosmic energies in our DNA. We belong to many planets, many forms, many experiences. We're so highly intelligent. And I've proven that I don't have to prove anything. But that's why the people watch me and that's why they've got me on the watch list. That's why they're banning my channel. I don't give a fuck. God will make sure that I will be out there talking to the people. Why? Because it's my destiny. Why? Because it's my soul blueprint. Why? Nobody else can do it but me. Why? Because I've been trained for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. God chose me. And I barely made it through. And I'm only here because of my celestials and my ancestors. Because everybody was involved to make sure that I didn't make it through. David and Goliath. That's my story. What are we going to call it? We're going to call it Joanna and the 5% elite that control the entire world. Call it whatever titles you want. Everywhere in our historical histories has all been about his. Divine masculine, the 5% elite, we have been erased. And the world is showing you how sick it is without divine feminine being of equal balance. We've been monopolized, we've been raped, we've been taken from. We've been placed on tables to be ritualized. We've been placed on tables to be monopolized. We've been downgraded and downplayed, derailed and devalued in every way possible. So anybody thinking that I don't belong somewhere, you're ignorant as fuck. And God will have your own timeline planned out for you. You don't deserve to be in my space. You couldn't be me for an hour. And I understand the whole minutia of dark and light, and I get that. I work with alchemizing every day. I get it. And I forgive everybody that was involved, the 50 plus people that were involved. But it's going to be a really wonderful experience to go to court and to have these experiences brought forward. Why? There's a reason why. There's always a reason why for everything. And God will plan it to the most beautiful, intricate, elegant experience. I still haven't been repaid a penny. Nothing's been repaid to me. Not one penny. Not one penny, not one apology. My YouTube is still at 0 growth. Why? Because there's billions of women on this planet that have died, that have been killed, that have been raped, that have been taken out of jobs, that have been lost out of jobs, that have been squished out of jobs, been pushed out of jobs, that have been forced to have no income, that have been forced to be homeless, that have been forced to look after their children on the street, that have been forced in the most degrading experiences ever could imagine. And they have been controlled by finances. They've been controlled of no opportunities. They've been controlled of discrimination in the boardrooms. There has been so much degrading agenda monopolization. It's just been entrained in who we are. And I'm that voice, and I'm going to take it right to court. So bring your best lawyers. Bring them. The highest paid ones, the biggest name ones, the ones that got their hands in everything, bring them. Bring your best lawyers. I've already got my numbers. Bring your best numbers. It's been the worst discrimination case, and everybody's going to get seen on every social experience of it because there's been so many different people involved, so many different roles and officials involved, so many different arenas involved. And trust me, whether the information goes missing, whether the evidence goes missing, it's not going to be an Epstein. No, it's going to go to court because every woman on this planet needs to be heard. So how far they want to play it, it's going to get played all the way to the end. So bring your best lawyers. Get your whole team of them. I barely made it through. Why? Because I meant to speak this story, and I will speak it. I am Joanna, and I'm a teacher, and this is my class. Sit down, Satan. Time to have a class. You will not monopolize women. You will not place us less than. You will not dominate us. You will not place chains around us and call us yours. We will not be your hoes. We will not be your whores. We will not be traded. We will not be pimped. And we will certainly not be handled. I have my rights to be exactly who I am, and I will be the fucking exactly who I am. Every thread, every cell, every aspect of me is who I am, and I will be it. I will be exactly who I am. Every cell, every fiber, every breath I breathe for life, because I'm so connected with God. I breathe life back into Gaia. I breathe life back into the oil of the waters. The fish need that oil. I know who I am as an alchemist, and I know who I am as a magician. I've got beings with me on every vibrational dimension that you don't even know about. So walk with me into that courtroom, oh dear lighted ones, because I will be closing that final statement about the number of people that were damaged in my delaying of my life and my destiny for 8 years when it didn't have to occur. That's the ridiculousness of this experience. That's the ridiculousness of things like the Maui fires, the ridiculousness things of like the Epstein. The ridiculousness of the entire underground, which doesn't need to be there. The billion-dollar black web business doesn't need to be there. The ridiculousness of it is it's not necessary. Everything is healable. But instead of facing the wounds, instead of facing who everybody is as a divine feminine, divine masculine being, no, they want to project their hate. They want to project their wounds to those that absolutely come forward in purity. I stand before everybody as a pure, healed, balanced, divine feminine, divine masculine being. I am androgynous. I'm not going to take sides, and I'm not going to say this and that. I'm not going to know. This is what being balanced looks like. And I am absolutely sure of who I am, and I won't be talked out of who I am. I'm not going to be having my surrender to any divine masculine organization or misogynistic group with robes where you think you can rape my divine God essence out of me and project hateful experiences that I had to go through and survive through as an empath and as a conduit. I will see you in the closing comments of that court. I will see you. And I will look you in the face and I will say, I forgive you so, because that's what your soul needs. And what would you have told my children if you did create that success assassination and spiritual hit on me that was tried over and over again? And how much monies were transferred back and forth to get me? How many other women has this gotten? How many innocent little children have been harvested? Because my final statement will have every single person that's been monopolized and discriminated, make no mistake about that, and it will be read out to every human on this planet, and that will be the song of New Earth. Because I speak for the all. So bring your best lawyers. Bring your best lawyers and make sure they're the biggest names that have the most contacts in the highest of the realms of your elite money and your little, and all the funds that go places and all the false companies where monies are traded back and forth. And make sure you got your stock exchange, your little stock exchange numbers there and your patents that aren't even your patents. Little businesses that you've called your businesses and they're not your businesses. They're stolen ideas from true light workers and true healers. Yeah, I called that one out. And you just went and patent something that's not even yours, so you might want to have a preemptive claim to say, oh, we patented it before you did. It means it's ours. You couldn't talk your way around one of my illustrations and have it go into the biosphere in any one moment. None of you could, because you're not a conduit. When I stand before the biosphere, God gives me a download and an imprint, and I say it and I speak it, and I am it. And bring your best lawyers. I will talk you around the table, and I will speak for every person that's been discriminated, every being that's been forgotten about, and every child that's been left in the street to fend for themselves at the age of 2 because their parents were so disconnected they forgot who they were. And I will stand and I will be that voice. So bring your best fucking lawyers. And then you tell me on that final closing statement, what would you have said to my children if that assassination and that hit went through? I want to know your statement. I want to hear it from your mouth. I want to hear it from your mouth. I want to hear what you would have told my children and the children's children's children. I want to hear what you tell generations from now when they're studying in light schools and they are learning about the stories of those that tried to take down one master of the royal lineage. I want to hear it out of your mouth. What would you have said? What do you say? Those 50 elite people that transfer money back and forth, that call themselves official people, that call themselves for the fucking people. I want to hear it out of your mouth. I want to hear it on their closing statement in court that day. Who do you speak for? You don't speak for the fucking people, I do. God is proving that. What would you have said to my children? Because if you were for the people, that money would have been returned 4 years ago. Because if you were for the people, you would have stopped your spell work 2 years ago when you were told by Archangel Michael. Go look on my blog. 2 years ago. God is so very gracious and so very patient with all of you. How much money has been wasted? How much time has been wasted? How much babysitting has been done by the celestials and the ancestors to make sure that your voodoo doesn't hit innocent children because they don't deserve your karma of your stupidity? I want to hear it out of your mouth. What would you have said to the children and future now moments and those studying in light schools that this master was taken from you because? What is your response? And then you tell me as I open myself into a boardroom of the most high of this planet, and you tell me that I'm not fucking meant to be here. I'm one of the greatest leaders this planet will ever see. And I am divine feminine, and I'm a goddess. And you will hear me roar. Because we're going to be bringing clean water and clean air back to this planet. We're going to protect our children. And we will not send them to war. That's something only ignorant men do. And if you're triggered by those statements, go in and heal. Because it is what is before you. I'm simply stating what's there. It's before your very eyes. And you're turned off. I will lead. And I will speak as God wishes. This planet needs healing, and I'm going to be that healer. And I'm going to teach a lot of other teachers and healers and leaders to be of the same mantle, that is of the Christ. Because we deserve better leaders. And as you sit thinking about those 50 people that were involved in my one discrimination case, and I'm only saying this because there's billions that have not been heard, and I am that voice. And this is why I'm so passionate, because their energies and their spirits are on the other side of the veil speaking through me. They did not get resolve. They did not get payment. They did not get retribution. They did not get clarity. They did not have their voices heard. They don't even have gravestones. Some of these beings that are on the other side speaking through me because of the discrimination, the hate, the raping, and the killing, and the beating that they had taken, and taking themselves out through suicide, they don't even have gravestones. That's how forgotten they are. There's women that haven't even been found yet that are speaking to me right now. Children that haven't even been found yet that are speaking to me right now. So, 50 Elite, you tell me right now. You tell me right now, what job have you done? With the money and the power that you have, at what point have we heard you say, we're going to heal our sacred land and our sacred people? What will you say? 50 Elite. And this 50 Elite is synonymous and is a metaphor for every being out there that chooses to do harm when they know they shouldn't and they just keep doing it. Everybody's got to go through their healing, and I'm saying what's exactly there. The energies that are on the other side that want their voices heard, that's my voice. The Gaia that gets destroyed every day, that's my voice. The animals and the nature and the children, that's my voice. And I ain't sitting down, and you know I'm not. I'm just getting started. We got a lot of clearing to do. We got a lot of alchemy to do, and we're starting now. Divine Feminine will be equal on this planet. Our jobs, our roles, our careers, our vocations, our passions, our interests, our creativity, we will be equal on this planet. We will be paid so. So better start moving around your money. New jobs, new pay, it's going to come in. And God's going to start aligning women after women after women after women because this world has to be healed. Our species rely on it. Our DNA relies on it. The children of light rely on us to be better role models that aren't even there. Think for 5 minutes, dear lighted ones. How is it for a high vibrational divine feminine who has no role models in the physical world? What do I grab for? Where's my vibrational reach? I have to do everything inner. So don't tell me, anybody, that I don't belong anywhere. I've created everything from that higher reach because there ain't no role models. Why? Because you've erased them all. Every divine feminine that's ever had a choice and a chance to be something, she's been taken out before she's ever had her DNA activated to the levels that mine are. I am the activational median. And I will be that role model, and I hold that very high. That is my mantle, and I won't sit down. Be activated all you want, be triggered all you want. I ain't sitting down, I ain't going nowhere. This is my destiny. There ain't no role models out there that are divinely aligned in their DNA by a handful of 5. And if I say some of those names, you probably won't even know them. They're very sacred women that I know that are light workers and that are teachers and healers. And they focus and they are inner focused. And why was it so important that people take me out? And what would you have said? I want to just ask you these questions for you to ponder and for you to muse so you get a 5-minute understanding of who I am in one day. What is it that you say when you're homeless and you're in your car and you're crying your eyes out because you're trying to understand the hate that just got impaled at you because of another voodoo or a full moon or a new moon? And you're crying in your car because you're homeless, because you've had your finances stripped from you and suppressed from you and pressed on you and monopolized from you and squished from you and forced from you, because that's how the divine masculine works. When they want to control you, they go right to the finances. And they falsify papers and documents and falsify claims, and they take it from you any way they can because they don't want you to be anything. And the first thing they go to is for the finances. It's a very systematic program of mind scraping that they do. Try and derail you and deconstruct you from the inside out, and then they take your finances and they isolate you from everybody. And then they create false stories so that at some point you just create suicide because there's no other way out. Why would anybody stick around for that? But God said, you're different this time, Joanna. You're not getting out. This is it. You're the one that will make this work. You're the one that's going to go beyond and go farther than anyone's ever gone before. Because in other lifetimes, I did take myself out. Why would I want to put up with this shit? You're abused and discriminated. Every time you take 5 steps forward, you get thrown 12 steps back. Because that's how it's been for 3,000 years. Because divine masculines aren't facing their divine feminine energies. They're not facing their woundings. They're not facing their gender exploration issues and their woundings and all of their things that they have to face, just like a divine feminine does. But I've done my 51% of healing. I've done that. I'm on to my next phase of DNA activation. I ain't slowing down. I want to know from those that were involved in the discrimination case of my life. I want to know, because you're also involved in other timelines. What would you have said when I'm sitting in my car and I'm crying at night for the next batch of spell work that just got taken, and I'm still isolated from my children. I'm still having to work with the legal fees of $50,000 on this one fucking legal case. Should have been closed in 2 years, is now going on 6 and 7, because people want to keep fucking with my energy and fucking with my life and delaying me as much as possible. And Spirit has said enough is enough. I still have to process the hate that's involved in every day that it's impaled. And every day someone's trying to fuck me up. And every day someone's trying to get me and still take from me. Still trying to be my destiny swapping. The ridiculous stuff that goes on. Trying to make sure that I don't get heard. Trying to make sure my channel doesn't get seen. And I do 4 hours of promotion every day. How's my channel not grown one person? And how do you think that divine feminine feels already being subjugated in the divine collective out there? Already being suppressed 85% because we don't get paid even the same. We don't even get considered for jobs the same. We're having already the subjugation that is already out there. I want to hear it from those top 5%. I want to hear it from the elites. I want to hear it from the ones that have been suppressing my income. I want to hear it from those that have been suppressing my channel. I want to hear it from those that have been pilfering my videos. I want to hear it from you. I want to hear it out of your mouth, because I'm going to ask you this in court. These questions will be asked in court. Did you think of the ramifications on the damage of the soul that you do to a person? The PTSD, the emotional, physical, mental, psychological damage that you do to a person when you abuse them to that extent? Put yourself in their shoes. Can you see what you are? Homeless, crying in the back of your car, trying to transmute the hate that's been impaled by a group of people that don't know what the fuck they're doing and who the fuck they are. All they care about is the money they're going to get. Do you care about the children that you have to say what happened to their mother? And there's many cases out there that children are being taken from their mothers by false claims, by false experiences, and these are schemes and agendas that are going on to disrupt and to derail and to delay and to discriminate and deconstruct divine feminine. We are being ripped apart at the very core of who we are. Why? Some of it's testing divine feminines, so don't fall out and don't give up. Because you're meant to go through these challenges to make you tougher. Because you have to pull on your divine masculine energies to kind of transcend the grossness and the gross negligence that has been there for thousands of years. So don't give up. I am a proof that you can do this. If you've been falsely claimed and your children taken away and your finances have been squashed and your jobs have been taken away from you and you've been derailed at every turn you get, don't give up. There's been agendas. Those agendas are moving out and things are getting better. Things are going to move faster really quick. We're on the first phase of 5D and things are going to move really fast. Make no mistake about that, and I'm the first one that's pushing through that veil. My energy is needed and I'm piercing that veil. I am piercing every piece of density that's on this planet because I focus on it. I know energy and that's what I do. I'm not giving up. I want to know what those people will say in court. I want to hear it out of their mouths. What are you going to say? You're going to be so practiced and your lawyers are going to train you. Your lawyers are going to tell you the right thing to say so you can get the hearts of the jury. But you're not going to know what my lawyers will ask you. Because my lawyers are going to be tapped in with God and we're going to put our own summary sheets together. And I know what my closing statements are. God's already given it to me. I'm already being downloaded. And you guys don't even have your lawyers ready. Bring your best lawyers. Every woman that's been discriminated, every child that's been discriminated, every child that's been raped, every person that hasn't even been found yet. I'm their voice and I'm coming. And we will open the Alexandria Library and those texts will be released. Because that's my history. I'm an ancient one, dear lighted ones. I'm just getting started. I have my right to be here. And I'm going to set this planet right. I'll be a part of that. I'll be a part of that story, and I will inspire everybody to be a part of it. Enough with the discrimination. Every human has a voice. Every human has energy of the Holy Christ. Every energy can choose to reconnect with God and Source and Gaia and our collective. That is the Sacred Trinity. the Mother and the Father and the Spirit within you. Your collective Mother, Father, God, who are you? And as you go about your day, know how profound you are as the omnipresence, connecting with all that you are in your transmutation, in your transformation, and you're allowing your DNA to be activated to new levels because you're sending out those new pulsations and you're going to magnify and you're going to attract new audience. You're going to attract new jobs. Why? Because God's going to make sure those jobs are going to be there for you. That's why God told me every day, keep going. You're just about at the end. You're just about at the end. Keep going. And every day I woke up and there was still no growth on my channel. 4 hours of promotion, still no growth. Slogging away day after day, doing my new things, doing my prayers, doing my alchemy day after day. Isolated from my kids day after day. Same legal back and forth day after day. Same tactics to delay, same tactics to hold my money back, same tactics to hold pretending nothing's going on and pretending that everything is just an illusion. No, it's not an illusion. You've been delaying my money. You've been taking my money. You've been creating businesses that are exactly like mine, but just a few numbers or letters changed. So much pilfering, so much stealing, so much theft, so much fraud, so much discrimination, so much exploitation. Financial audit will show it all. The exploitation done on me with no approvals, no signatures, falsification of signatures, falsification of claims, so much. An arm's length of things that were illegally done. And I ask you, could you be me for an hour? And how did I ever make it? God. God will support you and the legions will be walking with you when you stand up and know who you are with truth and with conviction. I don't party. I don't do drugs. I don't sleep around. I've been celibate for 14 plus years. My devotion is God. My devotion is healing and this planet. I'm a celestial being in human form. I've been here many times. I'm an ancient being. I'm beings of all universes and all realms and all bodies, and I'm here to inspire new life. And that gets me targeted. And so if I can make it, and many wouldn't, I'm not going nowhere. And until every child is released from the underground, I'm not going nowhere. I'm here for a reason, and I'm here for a purpose, and I'm going to live it. That's my promise to God. I'm going to bring the greatest light on this planet that this planet and the universe and the multiverse has ever seen. I've already been. That's why the systems of light tell me every day, the systems of light, thank you for your service. Because they know how much I do. They know how much I contribute. They know how much that I'm being a part of the studying of the human evolution and bringing humanity to new heights of awareness, bringing humanity to new heights of activation, because every time my DNA gets activated, the whole entire planet gets activated. There's been very few divine feminine activated to the level I am, and I'm not going nowhere. You cannot take out all divine feminine and sit in what? A planet that has no water and sick and diseased and just blowing each other up. Have you not seen enough destruction? Have you not seen what the divine imbalance that has been going on of just the divine masculines being in charge, of imbalanced and disconnect people that are not connected with their higher selves? Has that not been enough for you? COVID was supposed to be the wake-up call, dear lighted ones. Just as the tsunamis and the earthquakes are supposed to be wake-up calls. As Jesus said, as Mother Father said, what shall you do when God places a gift before you and you spit on it? I'm a representation of the federations. Is this what you do to a being that's here giving you unconditional help and love and assistance? How close are we to first contact if this is how I'm treated? And we've been saying from day one, the ails and the above is not what you worry about. It's going on right in front of your own house, right in your own families that call you their friends and they think that they've got your back. And they've done nothing but take and impale and deny and tell stories and schemes and plots and scams longer than your arm, because they don't want to see you grow and they don't want to see you be your best. And that's your equal catalyst to grow. But enough is enough. We said stop 2 years ago. We said enough is enough. We got to grow beyond this barbaric experience. Is everybody going to heal now? Every day you're going to wake up and you're going to look at your divine masculine, your divine feminine energies. Every day you're going to see whatever is before you. You're going to integrate it as your allness and see how you can align to a higher vibration of you. You're going to be the omnipresence of you because you know you're clearing out energy, because you want to have connection with higher vibrational beings like myself and like celestials and like the insectoids and like the Pleiadians or the bird people or the Lyrans or the cat people, the felines. So if you're discriminating about a divine feminine like me, where there is absolutely zero divine feminine in our role model history, there is no 5 people that I know of, and I'm tuned in to the energetic field. 5 women that are role models that are holding their vibration. And I'm sure there's many others. I'm talking about the ones that would be known in the public. 5. The average person doesn't know these people. They have to hold their vibration. I'm the one that's being made public because a lot has to be healed. It has to be brought up. It has to be said. It has to be spoken. It has to be brought to the table. If it's not acknowledged, it won't be accepted. It won't be allowed. You won't ascend. 3 A's equal to 4. You will not ascend unless you're working with the 3 A's. It's a mess. There is 0 divine feminine representation at the goddess level. 0. So how can you change that? How can you be in one with that? How can you inspire and empower that? How can you say to all divine masculines before you, honor is right from children, honor your divine feminine energies. It's okay for you to be intuitive. It's okay for you to explore who you are. It's okay for you to have moments and times and explorations in your life where you're attracted to the same sex. It doesn't mean anything about you. Stop the discrimination about gender exploration. It's a part of the normal soul's growth. You have no idea about what the soul is. There's so much misinformation and misunderstanding about gender exploration. So much misunderstanding. And then there's harm done to the soul when people want to choose their body parts and change their body parts. There's damage to the soul energy when that is done. But if we understood the soul, and if we had higher vibrational teachings, if we had higher vibrational experiences, we wouldn't necessarily have to do that damage to the soul. Even though it might be a thought and a consideration and a knowing that they want to change their body, but there's much we have to understand about the experience of the soul itself and what that does to the soul itself. Just like when somebody does harvesting on a light worker, that's damage to the soul. I've been shown this by the 9th dimensional Pleiadians. When those people did what they did to me in 2019, they did deep, deep soul damage that changed timelines. When they did their little moon ritual destiny swap. And they continued to do it throughout those times. I just learned how to work with my field and reclaim my power. And it was a daily process and a recalibration with my teams on a multidimensional level. And I had to rebuild myself. God helped rebuild me. That's why there is God. Because when you're aligned with God, when you equal measure with God, nothing and no one can take you out. So if I'm here today, I absolutely know and I can teach and I can help the world heal. Isn't that part of the whole story? So pay me my equal measure. I still haven't been paid. People solving court cases, people solving crimes, people are doing all this. I'm bringing this information. I'm helping people solve these crimes. Nobody's giving me a penny. I'm doing so much for the collective. I'm not getting paid a penny. How is that? And yet they take the credit. I'm not given any credit for the information and the wisdoms and anything that's been done. Why do I get that credit? I get it from God. I get it from the systems of light. I get it from my insectoids. I get it from the Arcturians that are working on me constantly, that are recoding my brain, recoding my DNA. That's my gift, because there ain't no human that's been here to give me my credit. I'm okay with that for now. I want my money and I will see you in court, and I've got my numbers. So bring your big bankroll. Because I'm speaking on behalf of every one of those people that got forgotten that aren't even found yet. And you absolutely know it's going to go back to the collective, because that's who I am. And that's what they don't want. They don't want the money going back to the collective. They want it to stay in debaucherous cycles of agendas. No, because they know I'm responsible with money and I'm going to do what's best for it. I'm going to do what's best for the people. Why? Because I'm a great fucking leader. I can go into any business and any company and I can say exactly what's going wrong and where it's going wrong and why. I help people save money. I help people make things more efficient. I'm aligned with God. I'm aligned with the heavens. That's what I do in invocation alignment sessions. Because I'm aligned with the heavens. I teach people that. There's no more rhetoric and red tape. Big pharma, we can change that. They don't want that because they're making billions of dollars a year. What about the underground? They don't want that because they're making billions of dollars a year. So it's easier to say, okay, well, let's just rape the soul of the next master. They're willing to rape the soul of a master for their billion-dollar, dumbass, underground bullshit agendas. I'm saying it as blatant as it is. I'm speaking what's there. What else would you call it? High financing? Watch some of Whitney Webb's videos. She'll tell you the numbers of the monies that are passed back and forth by false businesses and the elites that pass those monies back and forth. And if you're in the stock exchange and you have your stocks somewhere, watch who you're putting your stocks into, because some of those companies are fake. Where does your money go? What power do you give to and who? It's going to be a big time for us awakening. We're going to celebrate it. We're going to celebrate every moment of it. These are some of the stories and the vibrations that are absolutely in the collective that has to be transmuted. And each and every one of you are a part of transmuting those experiences. Each and every one of you are a part of creating new divine feminine Adam-Eve stories. Who is your Adam and who are you in the Adam? Who is your Eve and who are you in the Eve? It's not about a partner outside of you. It's always about you. Because you're the one that starts the activation that others around you are going to say, wow, you're a total goddess. How can I infuse and how can I look at myself as something new and different now? That's who we are, remaining in ourselves, and we activate everything outside of us. The interchange is inner first. And then others can do whatever they want with it. Non-interference, right use of free will. First, number one law. Get used to your universal laws because it's everything from here on out. That's what God tests you on every day. That's what your guides test you on every day. That's what your soul tests you on every day. And if you're going to abuse those universal laws, we'll see you in court. Because I'm going to be being trained in the legal field, and I'm going to be helping train every single person that continues to abuse universal laws, and they don't care because they've been told 100 times. I will see every one of you in court. Bring your best lawyers, because God has a plan. God knows exactly who's threaded with what. God knows exactly what dollars go to what. God knows exactly who's connected with what business. God knows exactly who's connected with who. God knows exactly what dollars are going to who. God knows exactly who's connected with what, where, who, and how, and why. Do you think that there's a better plan that why I'm placed where I am? Because I'm going to take each and every one of you to court. And there will be balance brought back to those that never had voice or choice. There has to be balance remade. And I am going to be a role model. Every injustice, every false agenda, every time there's arms race, money's going back and forth when it could be going to feed the children. Every leader on this planet will have a chance, will have an opportunity to alter course and start putting the monies back to the people. Start putting monies back to clean water. Start putting the monies and taking the fucking chemtrails out of the air. It's not rocket science. It's very simple on how to heal your people. Treat and behave and act like you fucking care. Again, what would you have told the children when a master gets taken out? Would you tell them the truth? Would you tell them the gang vibrational orgies? Would you tell them that? No, you'd blame it on divine feminine, wouldn't you? Yeah. Why not, right? She's dead. There's nobody to say anything, but there will be. There would have been another psychic that would have come forward and said, this is exactly what happened to that master. Just like I come forward and tell stories about Jesus that's not been written about. Because God has a plan. That's why it doesn't matter if you take out one light worker, you suppress one light worker, you suppress all of the divine feminines that are aligned and intuitive. And I've seen those divine feminines that are intuitive, and they have been suppressed and their monies have been frozen. Those divine feminines are doing the very best they can to survive, and they work with God every day. And I'm going to be helping supply them with new money and new jobs. God's got bigger plans, dear lighted ones. Bring your best lawyers. Because God knows exactly who's threaded with who, and it'll be far bigger than the Epstein. Far bigger. So you have a chance now to put those monies where it should be, right back to the people, and start making agendas that actually heal the people and heal the collective, and get rid of these fucking arm races, because there will be no third world war. And if you're a great leader, that's the first thing that you should think about. Why haven't you? Are you a part of the people? Or do you care about the people? Do you care about what's really going on? Are you down in the streets knowing how difficult it is for a divine feminine to survive? Do you know what it takes? Oh, elite 5% of people. I want to take an elite person that thinks they know who they are and that thinks that they're a world healer. I want to take, say, perhaps a Mr. Trump, and we're just saying that word because everybody knows that Trump. Everybody knows Trump. Take Mr. Trump and take all his money away and put him in a divine feminine's household for one day, a studio apartment where she's having to feed her children for a whole month off the monies that she's given. I want Mr. Trump and every elite person that's in a politician role, I want to take those 95, 98% of men that are in leadership roles, and I want to have them do exactly what a divine feminine does for 1 month and look after children on the squalor that she's given and the finances that are suppressed and the divine and the emotional, mental, physical, psychological torture that she's put through in any one day. I want to see a man move through that for 1 month. The stories are in the field. I'm saying it as it is. Do you think Mr. Trump would awaken to seeing a new level of respect for divine feminine? Do you think he would go to his Masonic club and his Masonic rituals, and do you think he would do his Masonic thing where it's just men sitting around talking about men and how great men are and how great the men can rule the world and how great they can start passing more money back and forth and bringing up more debaucherous underground things, and they think that they're supporting and they're creating a great world? Well, have you? Look around, dudes. Things that need to be said. There's no discrimination in this at all. It's fact. The things that a divine feminine does because she cares for her children, and she'll put in 10 times as much energy because she knows that her children are hungry, because she can intuitively feel that her children are hungry, and she doesn't have any food in the fridge to feed them. Because her finances have been monopolized by somebody that thinks they want to control her, because she chose to say no. She chose to get a divorce because she chose to say, no, I don't want this. I'm not feeling loved. I'm not loved. I don't love you. And I'm going to move my way out, and I'll do it however I can. And I'll make my way. And just for saying no, and just for moving out, and just because she wants a divorce, she's then targeted and punished because she doesn't want to be a part of that mess. Because she wants better for her children. Bring your best lawyers. I got my closing summary, and I'm going to touch on every person that's on the other side that hasn't yet been found and has been discriminated against, that has done their very best making penny for penny so her kids eat. Penny for penny because her kids are sick and they need to be held. Penny for penny because her kids are sick because they're getting thrown black magic and they don't have any idea about what black magic is, but their daddy's a part of a black magic lodge and all they do is fucking black magic. And the divine feminine feels it, and the divine feminine is clearing the house every day. Because her divine feminine is feeling that the kids are sick and things are happening and things are breaking. The car is breaking, the fridge is breaking, everything's breaking because there's so much fucking black magic in the house. Because the divine feminine has finally chosen to use her voice. Bring your best fucking lawyers. I'm just getting started. So don't give me anything when a divine masculine sits in the room and the divine masculine has no clue because they're not connected, they're not turned on, they're not healed, they have no idea about their intuition because they're not healed, they haven't been practiced, they don't have anything to do because they've been so suppressed about who they are as divine beings, they have no idea divine black magic is going on in the room. Meanwhile, the children are getting sick. Family members are passing out, family members are dying. Well, maybe perhaps you stop doing black magic and conjuring demons and entities as the sinkhole is coming out from the bottom of the basement. So don't tell me, dear lighted ones, that I don't belong to be in those best offices in the best tops of the world. I'm a great fucking healer. I shouldn't be here right now, but I am. That's one day. That's how much energy I transmute in one day. And those thought they wanted to destiny swap. You couldn't be me for an hour. You would have a psychosis break. Why? Because you haven't been trained. You haven't been here for 885 times. I have. I know how to sense energy in my field. And if God says I don't need to know it, I won't know it, and God will take care of it. I don't need to see it because it's so gross and it's so negligent that I would be so heartbroken. That's how sweet God is. There are things that my ancestors and God and my teams have not shown me because it would just rip my heart away. That's how loving God is. And I say to God every day I wake up, how can I bring more light, Spirit? How can I, and I've got ideas moving all over the place of how I can help people heal. And my channel's not getting seen maybe by 50 a day. So you tell me the blatant disregard and disrespect and gross discrimination on divine feminine. And you tell me for a day you know how to be me. And then you have the balls to stand there and say, I don't deserve what God wants to bless me with. Well, you've taken it upon yourself to vibrationally rape me and then blame my victimization on me. And I have to process that. I carry that for every woman that's never been heard. That's why I said, dear lighted ones, if I'm here and if I am who I am, and I am all that I am, and every day I come forward unconditionally and I show you how to work with your energy. I show you how to reclaim your power. I show you how to reclaim your Christhood. I show you how to connect with God within. I show you that you can connect with celestials and ETs. You are a part of this planet. You do have a sacred trinity, that you can reclaim your voice, that you can have the job and the career and the monies and the abundance and the manifestations that you so wish, because you can and you will. Then you will, so be it. That is a truth. I am here as a truth of God. I have a destiny and I will fulfill it, because that's my destiny, is who I am. Just as my name is, so is your name. Your name is attached to your destiny. Your name is attached to your soul blueprint. Your name is attached to every celestial and ET that heals you at night when you don't even know. That's how much you are loved. And God will show you things when you need to be seen. God will not show you things because God just loves you so much so it would break your heart. That's why some things you're going to skip over and some things you're going to go through in and out and in and out and in and out until you absolutely need to learn it. But there are things that God will absolutely not show you because it will just rip your heart apart. And God needs you to be present. And I know that. And I give God that grandeur. And sometimes it's hard. And I have conversations with God every day. Why won't you show me what's going on, Spirit? And God says, not yet. Not yet. There's things got to fall into place. We're moving things around. Things are being shifted. And there's so much going on right now for the benevolence of everyone. That's why nobody in their right, nobody in an ounce of anything of who they think they are from old, arrogant, ignorant experiences. Nobody has an ounce of right to say about anything of them pretending to be God. Nobody has an ounce of right to hurt and harm a child and rape them. They just don't. They don't. And if we only understood in a higher vibrational way, which is what I teach and share my videos, we honor and we show you how to be higher vibrational. You never, ever, 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 ever have to harm a child or harm anybody to get what you want, to be who you want, to experience what you want, to manifest what you want. Everybody is divine. The raping and the taking and the stealing is not necessary. The wars are not necessary. Everything is changeable and healable. Every day you walk forward, 3 things. As you're working the minutiae of the celestial importance of who you are, the omnipresence of who you are, in every day that you are who you are, bring 3 things that you can in every day, new perspectives of a 5th dimensional perspective, the highest loving acceptance perspective that you can about who you are as a divine feminine goddess, a divine feminine energy, working your divine feminine energies, working your divine masculine energy so that you can be a complete balanced androgynous being, safe and secure and loving, and fear of nothing. Fear of nothing because you're 100 with God. Fear of nothing because you're 100 with your higher self. Fear of nothing because everything on this planet is shifting and everybody's going to be a part of rewriting it. Every day, bring 3 things forward to start empowering and inspiring divine feminine energies, to bring healing back to our planet. And start empowering and inspiring. How can divine masculines be more of their profound divine masculine energy? How can divine masculines can be healed? There's so many divine masculines that have really taken so much of their journey because some of you are my clients. Those of the divine masculines that have been with me for many, many years, you're ready now to go out and start teaching how to heal as a divine masculine. You're carrying the mantle of the Christ for the divine masculine collective. You have very important roles right now. The divine masculine collective needs you. How did you move about your ascension journey? Talk about it, blog about it, do videos. The divine masculine collective needs you. Bring these higher vibrational behaviors and entrainments to be higher vibrational to the forefront. What role models can you seek out? Can you know? Can you share our videos? I'm a divine feminine goddess role model. I stand purely in my divine feminine. I honor my intuitiveness. I honor my ability to know that I'm a birther and a healer of all life. I am. God gives me that right. God gives me that authority. I nourish and I nurture all that is life, all that is God, all that is birthing. That's what divine feminines do. God the Father is the plan. The Mother is the birther of it. It has to be equal in your manifestation. Is the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. Be that of yourself and teach it, empower it, inspire it. That's the healing this planet needs. That has to be, because when we're in first contact, we're not going to be in first contact. If I'm a representation of the Galactic Federations, and this is the type of discrimination we've had to move through because that's where we were as a collective, we've come a long way. We've come so far since 8 years ago. So my story is just a really big, it's a big, tangible, physical experience of what we've moved through because you guys have been on my journey with me. It's been fully transparent. Nothing's been hidden. I'm a fully transparent being. I don't hide. I don't lie. Everything I say is 100% my experience. And nobody talks about that but me and God. That's my compass is God. My jurisdiction is the heavens. I talk about my experience. I have my right. And that's how our laws will be presented. Everyone has their right for the 3 E's. That's the law. Right use of free will, non-interference, that is the law. And I'm going to start to rewrite them. Because we're meant to be higher vibrational. We can't get there unless we work through these issues of great, great, great discrimination for thousands of years. And unfortunately, for those women that are on the front line with me, because you're in my classes and you are those students, you're now going to be the leader. And you're going to have students come and want to teach with you and want to be with you. So I've ushered you into a leadership role. And God has prepared each and every one of you in my classes. And you know you have because we've been talking about it for a year. And you've been so faithful and devoted. And God will reward you. So take up your mantle of being a leader because you know who you are. God will place divine feminine in the right leadership roles, how and when and why and how, because the cities of light are being placed. The cities of light are being anchored with every time that we claim who we are. Every time we wake up and say no more discrimination. Every time we wake up and say I can be a positive part of this experience. This is my personal experience. It's not been fun. It's not been great, but I'm doing the very best I can to make something better. And that's all God wants to hear. Is that you get up every day, whatever you take on the chin, and you keep trying to be better. Because I know the struggles that every woman has. I know the struggles when a woman goes for a job, the chances of her getting it are 80% less than a masculine. That's just the attitude, that's the imprint. When a woman goes in and she wants to positively speak about a divine feminine goddess, it's much better now than it was 10 years ago. And you're in the coffee room and you're having your lunch and you're talking about a great divine feminine leader, the energy that goes in the room shifts. Because how dare we speak so positively and lovingly about a divine feminine? It's going to shift a lot of energy when divine feminine leaders step up there. Because it's never been seen before, and why I've had to take the targeting. I've had to prepare myself. This has just been a small stage. What happens when I'm on the global stage? I have to prepare for that. Because there's going to be people like, who the fuck are you? Why does the divine feminine get to stand up there and be proud of herself? Well, why not? You've done it for 3,000 years, and you've made a mess of it. So a divine feminine comes forward, and we are lovingly and proudly and humbly in our center, and we can't be humbly in our center. That's discrimination. It's everywhere. So be the fullness of you, because you're setting forward the plan. You're setting forward the templates. We will be seen. We will be leaders. And there's going to be those growth kickbacks for people that say, well, we've never seen that before. No, because it's been 5% of the elites that have been arrogant and ignorant about it. There's been no room for anybody else. It's been misogyny and narcissism all over the place. A man walks in the room and sucks up all the energy. There's nothing left. No, it's going to be fair. It's going to be balanced. And yes, there are some men that are absolutely balanced. They do operate from a divine feminine perspective. They are very balanced and they are very grounded. I'm not talking about the very small men that have been healed, that have taken their healing seriously, that have been devoted to their Christhood. I'm not talking about those ones, because it's a very small pocket of those ones. And those ones are now healers. Daniel and Daryl and Cryon and Lee. Those are divine masculines that are a positive influence of very balanced divine feminine masculine energies. Those are good role models. There's many of them out there. Most of them that are in the social, economic, financial leadership world, they are not. Those are the ones I'm speaking of. They're very blatantly disconnected, not healed, imbalanced, and they're causing chaos all over the world. And you know they are. It's in front of your face. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Why? Because those are the ones that have been a part about ripping my life apart. Same energy, same energy, same energy. And that's my destiny, to talk about the discrepancies in energy of the field. Talk about discrepancies of energies in the collective. It's not every single person, of course not. So take what you will from how it feels. If you're a divine feminine sitting from my perspective as being an empath, as being a conduit, this is my life experience. I have my right to speak about it. And those 50 that were involved in discriminating me, I'll see you in court. Because I have my right to now take it to a legal experience. I want to be heard. Because I'm speaking not just for me. And I'm going to stand proudly in that energy. I will stand proudly as a divine goddess because it's not just me. I know that. Anybody on the outside might think, oh, she's just being arrogant. Like, who does she think she is? You can bring her off her pulpit. No. My pulpit includes the thousands that weren't heard. My pulpit includes the thousands that were raped. My pulpit includes the thousands that aren't even found yet. I got my right to be exactly who I am. Who are you? You're triggered because it's triggering something in you that's not healed. Yeah, divine feminine will be out there. Divine feminine will be seen. She will be taught in the schools. We will be as equal as all partners on the planet because we need to heal this planet. Now that everybody understands where we're going, it's going to be balanced and we're going to be alive with our diversity. This planet is meant to be the most diverse planet of all planets in our galaxy, to be absolutely unified and integrated with all light and all life. All I talk about is species integration. All I talk about is species honoring of everybody on our planet. It's integration of the all you have a voice. Integration of the all you have a purpose. Integration of the all you have activations. You have gifts, you have skills. Be your best version. Be diverse. Be integrative. Be loving. Be inclusive. Be peaceful. Bring forward 3 positive actions every day where you make a difference on this planet. Stand up for those that are forgotten. Stand up for those that are vulnerable. Right use of free will and non-interference. The law of balance is everything. Are you balanced? Do the inner work. Your teams are working with you. Thank them and pray to God every day. And we love you so, 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 so very much. We're going to pull an oracle before we go. It's one of my favorite oracles. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So if you want to donate, our PayPal link is below. Our class is on, when is our class, Angela? Our class is, this oracle deck is one of my favorite decks. It's by one of my favorite divine goddesses. She's the one that I talk about that few people will know. She is a beautiful divine goddess. And her name is... dun, dun, dun. Alana Fairchild. She's a goddess. She does the work. She knows what she's talking about. She knows who she is. She sets a great vibration. She's a goddess. Does many people know her? Is she talked about? Is she lifted? Is she sent celebrations? I do. February 9th. Is it February? Yes, February, right? February 9th. Thank you, Angie. February 9th is our class. If you want to go, it's on February 9th, 1 o'clock. PTSD. Oh, PTSD. PTSD. PST? PST. Oh, this is Anya Vision. This is one of her decks. She has such beautiful, beautiful. She always has the best art. And it is the way of the divine feminine revealed. Oh my gosh, as we were talking about it. Ah. This is the only card in the deck that is about the divine feminine way. So, oh my God, that's God. That's God for you. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. So again, when we talked about the shifts in the Ascension, the next 6 months are going to be coming more in line. Again, your gifts and your download and your site is going to be amplified and enhanced. So get ready to feel the enhanced gifts, which means, again, you're going to have to get used to your body's changing. More rest, lots of water, water-rich foods, going in nature, getting more rest, more quiet time, more silent time, so you can get those downloads. The divine feminine way is to see your way intuitively and feeling, like how are you feeling in that moment. Again, in any situation, any circumstance, what is it that you're tuning into? And then what is my part in the transaction? And then you respond. Not react, but you respond. Because if you're centered and you're breathing and you're acting in your highest and your best and the highest and best of all that is, and you're acting on behalf of the greater good, you're going to ask yourself, what is my part in the transaction? And then you respond in a balanced, positive way. And that is too, every day that you come forward, do your journaling in the morning, clear your fields, cleanse your fields, because we said earlier, you're going to have to prepare your fields and work with your fields differently, just like brushing your teeth every day. Right? So you're going to get used to working in the morning, at night with your fields. If you want to understand and work with a healing session with me at nighttime, then just work with me, because I can show you how to do those healing sessions that are specific to you, because everyone's going through a different phase, pacing, and temperament. And sometimes you're working through blocks or dark nights of the soul. So those healing sessions will be different. Because everybody over the next little while too, you'll notice, they'll be very short term, they've showed me. If you do have an illness or anything that you're worried about or concerned about, always see the doctor, of course, but they will be short term illnesses, because your body just has to transmute the density. And sometimes that's the only way you can, is by going through, short term diseases or illnesses. And everything is transmutable and everything is healable. So don't get yourself stressed out if you do end up coming into, it is really an ascension symptom. Just like your sight and your sinuses, when you have a really bad sinus cold, your third eye is being cleansed. And sometimes that's the sinus cold has to be there, because it has to drain all that darkness and density out. You have to understand that our bedding right now is the highest it's been ever. So that means our metaphysical, biophysical bodies are being changed and altered every day by the light. This is why I'm just saying what's in the field. It's just already there in the field. It's a higher vibrating field. I can just read it easier. I can read the density easier, because it's not moving as fast as the lighter vibrations are. So it's not a matter of, as we said again, there's no fault of anything. No, it's just there in the field. I can read it. And we shouldn't be hiding anything. There should be no secrets, right? We should be all transparent. We're healing things, so we don't have to hide. Everybody wants to become forward and being transparent. And also too, respect. We're going to talk about this very quickly, because most people know this, because it's part of the celestial alien integration. We have to understand that just because I'm a celestial, I know, because I've talked and had these questions before, and these are things that you might get asked and things that will come up, but you don't ever have to worry, because they're always with us, they're always watching. So privacy in and of that which is, again, honoring the right use of free will, just because you can remote view doesn't mean you should. And as I said before, I've given you lots of examples in ways that my teams have tested me. Anybody that's walking by me, my teams will show me a quick glimpse, or I'll have access into their field or a memory, and I'll get a vision into their field and into their privacy, and I just shut it down. That's my code for my teams. Close it down. I don't need to see it. That's just how I work with my teams and my higher self and my fields. There's times where I'll be open if I'm in an experience where the field needs to be healed or the people need to be healed, and I know that there's a healing, and my fields will be open. So I'm working with my teams and my fields in different ways, and so too will you, because you're going to be more sensitive. So really pay attention to how you're feeling activated, what you feel like day to day. Do your journaling day to day, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Those that you get activated around, those that you're triggered by. Everything is a part of your journey, so don't close any one thing off. Unless it's something, as we said earlier, it's been a long karmic story, and you've said no, you've done everything, you've done your due diligence, you've done everything, taken the right steps that Spirit's told you, then hand that over to God for them to deal with, because you're not meant to carry those loads and to shut those persistent karmic energies off. There are those experiences where you do have to hand it to your ancestors and God, so that they can do the closing off of those stories. Because again, not everybody's going to be in the same temperament and pacing as you. Not everyone's going to move into the same level of ascension exploration that you will. That's why God will have you move and change and move locations, because you need to move about so that those energies can learn how to manifest off their own light without taking and hindering you. You have to be nourished in new ways, and you have to be fed in new ways. So there's always reasons in the grander plan. And again, it goes back to your soul's blueprint. We want to talk one thing about privacy, because it also goes into the right use of free will and non-interference. That is the most important, and you get tested in every way. As I gave you an example, just because you can remote view doesn't mean you can or should. There's been a lot of people that have been interfered and played on my path by forcing themselves in my dreams, by interfering with my dreams in groups and by individuals, by forcing projections in I mean, they cross every spiritual law, they cross every physical law, they cross every universal law. I mean, these people send spy bots and remote viewing bots, and I mean, all the bullshit that goes on. So those are things, obviously, because the karma is so much now that God's just taking care of it. And you can do your healing exercises at night, which I can show you, can set up an appointment with you. Do your protection and your healing seals at night, which I can show you. Because again, you're gonna have to work with your fields differently, especially if you're going through closing off thick, karmic, harmful situations. Forgive every day, forgive. Go within, do your own healing, do your work. You're not responsible for them. You're only responsible for you and your karmic story. You need to keep moving with your light because your children and your lineage rely on it. So don't stop and wait for anybody. Keep moving. God will always say, your teams will always say, keep moving. Let us deal with anybody around you that's trying to interfere and pull you off. So let the teams and let you have support systems. You have beings that are with you. If you've continued to not play in the rules of right use of free will and non-interference, those will be the ones that won't be supported and they won't be protected. So they will be just moving in about of the energies they've conjured. There's no spiritual protection for those people because they've been told. So that's why it's really important to understand that anytime that you do black magic, voodoo, you interfere with people's lives, every time you do a situation like that, and you know and you've been told and you're not honoring right use of free will, you will be less and less supported by your teams, your ancestors, and you will not have spiritual protection when that does come back and backfire, because it will. You have to honor the laws. There's no more fence sitting. You can't say it's an excuse, I didn't know. Everybody knows. It's common courtesy. Don't interfere with anybody's life. You shouldn't be paying for magic. Unless it's a healing and you're doing it for the highest and the best and that person has their permission. Can I send you a healing? You have to have permission to go and do healing on somebody. You can send healing vibrationally to the collective in general and say divine order, divine order, divine order. You're sending the highest and the best to everybody. You can't do a healing and send magic to somebody and do something on somebody without their permission. You don't have that right. Who are you? Who are you to do remote viewing just because you can? You don't have that fucking right. You can practice in a right use of free will and you're using the honor system, and you can say, I'm going to set up a chat group. Does anybody want to practice remote viewing with me? And you do it in good conscience. You don't do it to take their light force. You don't do it to harvest their energy, which is what all of the beings that I came from. Everything they did had an agenda to use your life force. Everything they did and asked and pretend and fake clients, everything they sent me was for an agenda to suck the fucking life out of me. And that's where God says, that's it, enough. That's when God will just take over. Let God deal with it, because there's so much arrogance, there's so much ignorance, there's so much wrongful. Nothing gets missed. Just know that. Nothing gets missed. Anybody that does not follow the right use of free will and non-interference and the law of balance, you're practicing to be in the law of one. You're practicing to be a high vibrational being. You're practicing to be a teacher and a healer and a master. You have to understand the laws of one if you're wanting to be a master. You can't keep interfering and harming in people's lives. And there's going to be classes we're going to be holding probably in about 3 months of 5D parenthood, where you're going to absolutely having to heal all of your subtle ways that we try and guide children, and we're going to have to be rethinking it. We should really be only empowering, encouraging, and inspiring, and knowing that they have guides and beautiful teachers of their own. We are here to teach them how to remember how to work with their multidimensional bodies and their life force, so that they can reclaim their bodies and their light and have nobody touch them ever, or siphon energy. And they'll be very aware when somebody's trying to tunnel into their dreams and take their life force, or try and dream rape them. Yes, unfortunately, there's people that do this and they don't have any conscience and they don't care. They're getting very, very scattered because they're not feeding off the energies they used to feed off, because the programs and agendas are falling. So these entities, and that's why the underground was born, because they're feeding off the energies of the people they go and do debaucherous things with. The porn industry. That's how they feed their life force. They're just not doing it in a healthy manner. It's an unhealthy, sick mess. That's how they feed their very low vibrational life force. Unfortunately, children are used and they're damaged at a soul level. And I'm teaching it at an energetic level. We have to start healing and teaching and creating higher vibrational education so that people don't walk around And they're very prepared, and they're working through the karma. It's working through the karma, and it's not a victimization. Get your head out of the victimization. No, we want to reclaim our power. We want to reclaim our energy. We want to reclaim the rights to our voice. We want to reclaim the rights to being divine feminine. We want to reclaim our rights to say, no, this is my energy. Go get your own. I'm tired of feeding you. I'm tired of feeding a whole community. All they do is take. No, get another battery source. It's not me. And then I teach others to not be that next battery source. Have them go and do it from themselves. They've been told 800 times. That's why God's had enough. No, they've been told. Get your own life force. She's shown you 800 times how to do it. I'm not their access to God anymore. They have to get access to God right from God. That's when you've lost the privileges. You've lost the privileges to the healer. You've lost the privileges to higher vibrational wisdom. They can't access me anymore. There's just no access. They've lost access because it's been so disrespectful. That's when God and your answers pull the plug. So you're on your own now. And I would not want to go through Ascension without divine protection. No fucking way. I'm only here because of my divine protection. I am only here because of my celestials and ancestors reminding me how to work with my light, reminding me how to be an ancient master, reminding me how to be all that I am as spirit. And I'm teaching that to the rest of the collective. Everything that's on our planet right now is healable. There's no necessary actions for war, for disease, for illness, for taking, for raping, for stealing, for gangs, for arms race. There's no need for any of it. It's all healable, and we can change it, and we will. So that's great, great hope and great power and great love that we all are divine, feminine, masculine, balanced beings of light. No more hiding who we are. No more hiding what we want to explore. No more hiding who we have been. No more hiding that we are ancient divine beings. No more hiding that we are celestials and aliens and we're all encompassed in a human body. No more hiding that we have divine access to the heavens. No more hiding that we want to see beyond religion. No more hiding that we want to be divine feminine healers and teachers of the world. Why not? We have that equal opportunity. God wouldn't place us here if we didn't. If God created divine feminine, and God did, we are the birthers of all life, why don't we have equal access to life? We're here to birth life, but we're not allowed any part of it. We're not allowed to be paid for any of it. We're not allowed to be cherished by any of it. We're not allowed to be seen as a leader of any of it. We're not allowed to be celebrated for any of it. No, we're just supposed to make babies and stay at home. That's one part of our role, but we're so much more. No, I'm far more. And I want to be remembered as far more. I want to be remembered for changing the planet, because one person can change the planet. And can we get on with playing now and creating and helping others? Can we reach out to those that have been forgotten? Can we reach out to those that didn't have the tenacity and the perseverance and the consistency that I did, and the love that they've forgotten they had guides and teams? I'm very, very lucky that God has been with me so vibrantly. And God knows exactly why God's placed me the way God has. Because I will be that voice, because I know how hard it is. I know the struggles. Nobody knows it better than I do. And so I feel very, very, very grateful, so grateful. Every day I wake up and I get to bring a new higher vibrational story. I get to bring a new creational experience for all humanity if they so choose. Whoever wants to tap in, it's always free. That's how you know a great leader. It's unconditional giving. So that you walk away knowing that you've got hope, knowing you can walk away and you've got access to God anywhere, knowing that you got access to tune into your alien celestial energies, knowing that you can stand up for yourself and you will be heard. God will support you no matter what you think is there for you or not there for you, and that you will be given back to when your time is ready. And always know that in every moment, God is showing you a deeper level of your soul purpose, of your soul depth, of your soul wisdoms, and being happy with right where you are and be celebrative of it. There's so much richness in every moment, and I'm here to help you remember that. Because if I can get through what I did, and I always haven't been the greatest master and leader, and I always forgive myself daily. I have those moments daily where I say, my goodness, God, I'm so sorry for my transgressions. I haven't been a good leader today. And God will say, stop being so hard on yourself. You just got impaled by 8 generations of black magic. We're working with you. That's how beautiful God is. That's the making love that I do with creation. God loves me so much so. God won't let me see the darkness and the ugliness that people really do behind closed doors. God doesn't want me to see that. Because God knows that I'm so precious and I'm vulnerable and I'm that little fairy little girl that likes to see, all these beautiful mythical creatures, because I'm here to remind that to all the children and to all women that want to be playful again. All women that don't want to be 95% in their masculine energies because they've had to be. When my voice gets profound and I'm standing so sure in myself, that's my divine masculine energy. I've had to be. Because nobody's heard me in my divine feminine voice. Nobody's heard me the first 3,000 million times I've said something. So I have to take on that divine masculine energy, and that's what triggers people. No, I am a balanced divine feminine and masculine, and when my voice does get up there and I get very sure and I'm saying where this planet will go, I'm in my divine masculine energy, and I have to be, because it's been so blatant and nobody's heard me the first 8 years. So how do you expect a divine feminine to be? You've raped her on every other level of creation. You've taken everything from her on every other level. How do you expect her to be? She has to switch up to her divine masculine energies. And there was a plan to that. That was all prearranged. They wanted us in our divine masculine energies, because they were intimidated and threatened by when we were in our divine feminine energies, because they weren't healed in their divine feminine energies. And what they saw in their homes of the divine feminine was warped and distorted. There is a lot of healing that needs to take place, and I've written about it every day. And every one of your personal life experiences is going to show you the mirror reflection of your own divine feminine and divine masculine energies, your experiences in your homes, your experiences in other lifetimes, your experiences on what you're here to anchor now as the new divine feminine Eve, as the new divine masculine Adam, because it's you. I only state what's there and in the field in the experiences. It's there. The reason why the divine masculine collective gets triggered, why I was targeted, because there was no healing of their own divine feminine energies. There's no healing of that done. They had distorted divine feminine experiences in their homes. They saw their mothers get beat. They saw their mothers get discriminated against. They saw their mothers being treated as if they were nothing. Some of them didn't even have mothers in their homes. And then they went to dogmatic experiences where it was only the men telling everybody what to do and how to do it. And if they didn't do it, then they were punished and they were ostracized. They weren't given the opportunity to be creative. They weren't given the opportunity to be sexually exploratory, because heaven knows if you were gay and being a Catholic school, that was just unheard of. There's a lot that dogma has to transcend, because there's so much discrimination and dogma trauma. And a lot of men are suppressed because they weren't allowed to explore who they were creatively, intuitively, and in their own gender preference. And there's a lot of trauma that has to be healed. That's why there's so much distortion. So I have great compassion for them. And you also have to understand that the universal laws take priority. If you're not following them, if you're not honoring them, you will be dealt with by God. And so let God deal with it, right? You have that, surrender that to God. It's your jurisdiction. Okay, God, I've had enough. The jurisdiction of the heavens will take over because I'm out. And let everybody know I'm not dealing with this anymore. The money will make its way to me. I will get repaid in every level. I'm here to be a bigger voice for the entire collective of role models that are just not there. And it's a big task it's a big burden to carry. I'm making waves for something that's never been done before. That's a big thing for me to take on. I'm taking it on, absolutely. Every day I get up, let's go, God, what do you got for me? It's not easy. There's nobody doing it with me. It's just me and my God and my teams. Nobody's there patting me on the back. God has to remind me every day to do so myself, because there's nobody with me on this journey. There's nobody here. I don't go out and party. I don't go out and sit with friends and do chat groups with friends and talk about how we're going to get people next. No, I live a benevolent life. I sit and I pray and I do energy and I work with energy every day, every hour, every day I pray. Every day I talk to God. Okay, I wasn't good on that. Thank you, God. Give me another opportunity. I can move in a better way. I can see myself in a better way. I can see others in a better way. Please let me forgive in a new way. This is 24/7 is what I am. It's what I do. I'm transparent. And I'm wanting to teach you. I'm wanting to help and I'm wanting to offer, and I will. And I am. I am that I am. And we love you so very much. So this week and every day you go forward, start thinking about the new divine feminine. Think about divine feminine roles on the planet. What role of the divine feminine energy can you exude? Can you emulate? Can you radiate? Can you embrace? Can you be a part of being the example of? Feel embracing of the divine feminine energy. Feel embracing of your divine feminine intuitiveness. Feel embracing of what you know to be as divine feminine. How do you see that new role model? Because again, they're not there. There's a handful of them, they're not there. They're not taught in schools. Very few kids know of a great divine feminine role model, and why all the girls dress like little boys now. There's so much healing and shifting that we're doing on the planet because we have been erased. And it's everywhere. It's in your faces. I'm simply telling you what is. We have to bring back the divine feminine and rebalance our planet. And the waters will be nourished. The waters will be renewed. The plant life will be renewed. The air will be cleaner. There has to be. It's been out of balance for 3,000 years. And in the divine masculine healing their wounds, it will be even better. And so those divine masculines that have been on the path of ascension for a while, please bring your stories and help the divine masculines that are with you in the journey. And always seek for help. This is one thing about divine masculines that will be healed because it's part of their divine masculine imprints that they're healing. Divine masculines have felt afraid to ask for help because it's seen as false or insecure. No, a lot of my clients were divine masculine because they knew they were intuitive. They knew they had a high celestial and alien DNA count, and they were attracted to me, and God led them to me. And we worked through those early issues about, no, you got to ask for help. Be absolutely 100 in your intuitiveness, and be okay to let go of people that, target you for being intuitive or talking about aliens and light ships and celestials. You'll find your tribe. Don't be small or different because there's a group of masculine that aren't comfortable yet in approaching their multiverse energy. So own that, accept it. Say, yeah, I talk about light ships is what I'm into. And own it, claim it. It's who you are. In a year from now, everybody's going to be talking about light ships. In a year from now, light ships are going to be talked about in schools. We're going to be talking about chakras in schools. Own it. Be a part of the change. Start claiming who you are as a multiverse being of omnipresence. Start radiating the omnipresence in your field and see what God places before you. God will bless you in every moment because you're choosing to 3 A's and 3 E's. 3 A's and 3 E's, that's your A, your ascension. God's going to place everything before you because you've chosen to acknowledge it and be it. And you're going to find those friends, you're going to find those people that want to be that with you. That's when you get your tribe because there is no discrimination. No, they're going to uplift you in that. They want you in that energy because you give from them and it's a reciprocal experience. That's what's finding your tribe is. Your tribe is equally reciprocation. There's no discrimination. There's putting anybody down. There's no fear of saying or talking about things. No, we're talking about everything. It's got to be talked about. We want our tribe to be better. It's not competition, and there's no competition on any level. No, we are helping each other be better. There will be nothing hidden. There will be no secrets. There will be no secret communities. There'll be no secret nothing. Fully transparent. This is how we help each other. Because if you're transparent, you're offering a higher vibrational light. What does that mean? That means I'm going to get a higher vibrational light. What does that mean? I'm going to be offering you a higher vibrational light. Light begets light, light begets light, light begets light. Whereas opposed to right now, everything is underground, everything's secret, nobody knows anything. Everybody's getting lied to. Families are being broken. Communities are being broken, houses are crashing, families are crashing, people are getting sick, people are diseased, sacrifices are going back and forth because everybody's rushing to the energy. Nobody can get the energy, so they're doing sacrifices and black magic for more energy. Then they're getting in secret underground groups and covens and mason groups, and then they're putting on their robes and doing more sacrifices because they don't know how to get their energy, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know how they are, they don't know what they exist within, they don't have no idea what's existing within them. Do you see the mess? I've just told you everything that's been going on the past 3,000 years. Are we ready to move on now? Know who you are. Work with your energy field. That's all you need. God is everywhere. God is everything. The omnipresence is everything. And when you're working with celestial integration, the first phase of 5D will allow you to know that you're absolutely multidimensional, and your fields and your bodies and your chakras and all of your energy and your DNA activation, everything is showing you everything we've talked about is 100. You're in it. You are it. You are celestial. You are alien. Ain't nobody above you going to come down and suck your brain out. It's ridiculous. Don't buy into the fear stories. The beings that are above us have been the ones that have been help us not go into a third world war. So thank every day for the celestials. Thank every day for the galactic federations. Thank every day for your celestials that are with you, hovering over you and healing you every night. Be intimate, be engaging, be responsible, be in a relationship and a connection with your celestials because they're you. They want the best for you. Why? Because you're that threaded pearl that's helping lift up the whole scale. Everybody is connected. Everything matters. Everyone is one. It matters. That's why my story matters. Because I'm speaking for an entire collective that got erased. And we have to rebuild and start right from scratch. So who are we? Fair pay for everybody. Fair rules and opportunities for everyone. And if things were healed, then it would have been done already and it would be already, but it's not. So we have to start somewhere. If you see something wrong and people being discriminated against, do something about it. Right? Do something about it. Be an opportunity. Be an opportunity to help change creation. 3 easy, positive, loving ways where you can take action. Easy, positive ways. Or you can say positive, easy ways. Pew. Sit in your pew. How can I pew today? Positive, easy ways to make a difference. 3 A's, 3 E's, offer it to somebody, offer it to yourself. Embrace yourself, love yourself, you're God, and God loves you. God loves you so very much. Angela, you are a master. You are on your way. You are on the path of mastery. Don't give up, Angela. You are a masterful being and the world needs you. All of my clients that have been with me from day one, the world needs you and you're masters. You're practicing to be a master. So know that you're going to help many humans and many celestials, because you're also going to help align and integrate celestials when the first landings do occur, and we're going to be doing integration from off-world here. That's what we're learning too. I'm going to be an integration specialist. I'm also helping other beings that are going to integrate to Earth. That's in the 5D version, because again, there are different shifts that we're going to make, and it depends on how much integration you've done. There will be the integration specialist where we're going to be helping those of off-world integrate to Earth. Right? So they've been watching us. They're in our field watching us all the time. They watch how we maneuver very strenuous, stressful situations. Because I'm a crystal and a hybrid, a lot of children watch me to see how I navigate dense energies and again, disrespect, discrimination, absolutely zero reference to hybrid children. There's no reference to hybrid children on our reality. If there's no reference for divine feminine, how is there reference to hybrid children? There's zero reference for children on our planet. When you think of the children's energy on our planet, what do you think of? There's nothing being projected and created out there yet, except for unfortunate underground and the child trafficking. Isn't that unfortunate? So this is where we have to change every day. We are reigniting and we are rewriting every aspect of life on our planet. We're writing new stories. Where are they? So empower your children, inspire your children. These children, the collective of the children, need a leader. They need a writer. So empower them. What's their vibrational story? How are we helping them? How are we being greater role models? Who is the role models today that you can look up to? There's lots of great, there's a handful of really great men role models that are doing their best to stay powerful in their craft, and they're passionate about their craft. And they work on their craft. They're creative beings that are just passionate about their craft. And God will always make a way for them. Because they do offer integrity and balance, and they absolutely honor the role of the divine feminines in their life. And they do lift them up. This is your space, honey. Go for it. There's no ego. There's no domination. Right? We have to understand there's a lot of healing that's needed. And we've activated that through your own stories, just like mine. Women that are being downtrodden every single hour. No, let's lift these women up. Lend a hand. 3,000 years of subjugation. Give some compassion for those women that have been down. Right? So again, we're just getting started and it's very, very exciting. So really honor yourself for being here at this stage. If you're watching this video, if you're here at this stage, my God, you are profound. Keep going. Make sure that you're clearing and working with your fields daily. You're working with your divine inner energy. If you need a session with me, if you need a healing with me, just let me know and give me an email. 90-minute session is $233. And we'll sign off now because it's getting really dark and I want to go. We love you, dear lighted ones. Rainbow hugs and kisses. Speak your truth. Be your truth. God loves you.